And we are live.
All right, what is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother Mythos Cushionata from the channel Frost and Fists.
And I am the Freak of Nature.
And welcome to the show. So tonight we've got quite a bit to talk about because it's been a busy week, right? If you joined us on Saturday, we had a surprise episode getting to go over Warhammer Fest, but there's lots of stuff from both Warhammer Fest and then, of course, they did some live blogs this week. So lots of stuff that they announced. But our big question is, did Warhammer Fest and the other announcements this week, did it deliver for you? All right, but before we do that, we are going to start, as always, with our hobby progress. Freakaliciousness, would you like to start off for us?
Sure, why not? So I have been working on that Dreadnought. It's a Dark Angels Dreadnought for my buddy Steve. And yeah, so I've gotten a lot accomplished on it. I'm just about finished with it. I'm going to do a little bit of edge highlighting, and he asked me to do some weathering. So I'm going to do I've never done weathering before because all my stuff, I kind of like it pristine, you know? I like my stuff looking really nice. And, you know, I never do weathering on my own stuff. Yeah, I might have a little bit of fading, a little bit of mud on the tracks of a tank, but, you know, I never really wanted to put any scratch marks on my stuff. But my buddy does, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that, take care of that. But so far, though, right now, I think it looks really good. Can't wait to do a showcase on it because I think it's gonna really.
It's going to be such a gorgeous showcase, my brother. It really is.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait till you do the base on that, too. You doing the base or is the client doing the base?
No, I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. I mean, he didn't really say anything. I mean, he's just leaving it up to me. So, I mean, okay. I'm going to do the base for it, and if he doesn't like it, he just rip it, you know. Like, I don't want this crap. You know, I don't know. But no, I mean, I'm gonna set it up. I'm thinking of doing something pretty neat, like a nice little diorama, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, who knows? I might even end it in the Golden Demon or something. I don't know.
You know, talking about dipping your toe in the water with the weathering and how you're not usually comfortable weathering your own stuff. Sometimes doing commission work is all about doing stuff that you're not comfortable with, right? Like
pretty much. Painting
white armor, especially if it gives you apprehension every time you touch it. And then you decide that, man, you can't wait to be done with this particular thing. So yeah. So sometimes things like weather, you got to push yourself to do what you want to do.
Yeah, so true, man. Oh.
Running Bear, brother Running Bear is already in the chat, and Archer's already in the chat. He says he's watched every informative video over contrast paints earlier today.
Wow.
So, I mean, the contrast stuff looks really good. I mean, as we go through and kind of talk about the Warhammer stuff, we'll definitely talk some contrast. But yeah, definitely that was the big announcement, right? Almost, you know, and I'm just going to preface before we even get to our main topic. Almost, you know, usually the big thing we want to see is models, right? Almost a little disappointing that it was just paints that was the biggest release. But
I really thought there was going to be something else. I thought it was going to be models. I thought it was going to be, you know, something big. But, you know, I guess paints, okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's just, you know. Dark Light Dreamer says, "Hey, brothers.
Hello.
Dark Light Dreamer. Dark Light Dreamer, I saw put a message on Facebook earlier this week, and it said it could be as early as next week that the Dark Light Dreamer starts leaving some or starts recording for his channel. If you guys are fans of any kinds of video game Let's Plays, especially some of the ones he does best are horror games, definitely go check out what Darklight Dreamer has done on his channel so far. You can see him below in the chat. Just click his icon, visit his channel, let him know that Frost and Fist sent you. And if you would, Darklight Dreamer is getting ready, prepping for a Q&A session. So you can leave some comments down below right here on our channel. And, you know, it would be a really big help to us and to Darklight Dreamer if you left him a comment for his Q&A.
Now, here's a word of caution, and we have to do this, okay? It's a disclaimer. Caution. If you start watching his videos, you may begin binge watching. So
it is addictive as shit.
It really is, guys. Look, I'm telling you, we have Buddy Atlas, right? You seen him in our games and all that. He's never watched a single one, and we were telling him, dude, you need to go check it out. Yeah, my daughter Nina Chick, she was like, oh yeah, you gotta go check it out. You really need to go check it out. And Methus was the same way. Well, he went to go check it out, and then the next time we got together on our D&D session, it was like, Darklight, I blame you. I blame you for my lack of productivity because I have been binge watching the heck out of those videos.
Speaking of the amazing Atlas, we had an amazing D&D session this week. And it wasn't super action-oriented, although I did get to vent some frustration on some giant rats. But this was Freak and I are still working on how we want to do the style for our D&D recap, so please be patient. That is coming up. But we were really this was less actiony and more like figuring out the problem, investigatory, what's going on, and moral dilemmas. So many moral dilemmas. I think that is a really, really good hallmark of a great GM.
Yep.
When they make you care enough about the game and the circumstances, and it's not just murder this, murder that. Commander, come here, baby. Cat snuck in the house, trying to keep my dog from eating it. So when a GM can really make you care about the circumstance that much that you are legit stressed out over these moral predicaments, that's a hallmark of a great GM. So that was really cool. Shadow Cat says, morning, boys. Good morning, Shadow Cat. Running Bear says, I play 7 Days to Die.
That's cool.
Shadow Cat started playing ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, I assume. Finished at 1.
Wow.
Brother Ian is in the house, says, I have no one to blame for my lack of productivity. I haven't painted in months and can't seem to break through the wall. Man, I know.
I get it,
the motivation tanks. I know, brother. I know.
Man.
Unfortunately, I feel like my current commission is killing my motivation, but I'm trying to power through it.
It's a thing. It really is a thing.
With that, talking about the D&D session, though, it leads me into my next piece of hobby update. So our awesome brother, Atlas, our GM, is taking care of us he's really enjoying this game with his players. And I think this is just, I don't want to lie. I believe, and I could 1,000% be wrong, I believe this is his first time actually GMing the game. So anyways, he really seems to enjoy our group that's working together, and he's ordered all of us Hero Forge models to go with our character based on from look, weapons, pictures, even poses from the picture we submitted of what our characters look like. And mine was the first one to come in, and that is my human warrior, ex-knight, current fighter, wandering adventurer. Yep. That is him. Atlas did an amazing job because I used a picture of, and if you know anything about JRPGs, Hector from Fire Emblem, an anime-esque looking character as my fighter picture. And I'll be damned, he took that anime-looking picture. He took that anime-looking picture and managed to nail a D&D figure out of it.
That's crazy.
I also got to see previews of the other 3 players' models.
Yeah, you suck.
So while they're left curious, I already know. But I think you're going to enjoy it nonetheless. Brother Ethan, you bring me on to brother Ian, you bring me on to another part of my hobby update, brother. I know that you, unfortunately, your motivation is down. Maybe I can help bring some of that back into you. We mentioned before we were going to do a Fresh Force Challenge of Ultramarines together, and I've done my 2 test models here. Let me actually bring back up my camera so I can actually see what I'm showing you. There we go. So these two were my test models. One of them it's going to be hard to show up here on the camera, but one of them has slightly brighter highlights because I went up to Viking blue. I decided not to go crazy with the Viking blue like my original scheme because for me, the dark sky and the Viking blue, I couldn't get it like Kenny Boucher. It just looked funny when I did it. So I ended up going the McCrag blue, Caldor sky to brighten the whole thing. And then Zenithal and just around the top points of the knees, ankles, arms, that kind of thing. A little Zenithal with some Viking blue or Teclis blue. So I did those two test models. I finished those up last weekend. I have also since, check this out, 5 intercessors and my custom apothecary made from a fancier apothecary. So if you are wondering what's the story behind a downgraded Primus Medicae, what happened is that I was doing commission a couple years ago, and the mold releasing agent was so oily on it, I scrubbed and couldn't get it off. So I saw somebody say that, it worked with resin to use alcohol and let it sit in alcohol for a little bit. And what I didn't realize is that if I had followed the tutorial a little more closely, they used the weaker green alcohol and let it sit in that. And I didn't look. I just grabbed whatever bottle of alcohol was around. So I had like a 90%. And by the time it came out of the drink, the body was fine, but the arms and weapons were all so limp, and some of it was like melted and snapping off. And so the arms were no good. I ended up having to replace that commission, buy a whole nother world model from Forge World, have it imported over. Oh. It took forever for me to finish because I was waiting for Forge World to send it to me, from the UK. And then I ended up losing money because I ended up buying a whole new Primus Medicae. And then I used the arms from it. So I had an extra body for the longest time that I did nothing with. But now that I'm doing Ultramarines, I just stuck some apothecary arms from a veteran upgrade sprue and took the apothecary arms and made me a little apothecary for my Ultramarines. So anyways, I got 5 on the go here now that I've done my first 2 test models. So I got some Ultramarines done. Or not done, but work in progress. I am pretty much finished with these Tau stealth suits here. If you watched last week, I was worried because the box art had white guns on white armor stealth suits, and it all looked like too much white. So I decided to break that up with mostly black. It's still got its gloss coat on. I still need to matte it down, but there's some silver, or there's some grays here, breaking up the barrel here and barrel here. And it's supposed to be a Macross theme, and that's kind of the way the rifles are on Veritech suits from Macross. So I kind of kept it thematic and managed to break up some of that white. So pretty happy with that. These just need final highlights, the eye lenses, matte coat it down, and do the bases. So probably by sometime tomorrow afternoon, those will be done. So my third squad of Tau finished. And then I've got this one on the go. So Shadow Sun, they requested, if you watch Macross, requested a Skull Leader, which is one of the Veritech suits in that anime. And they requested a Skull Leader paint job, which is going to be mostly white because most of Skull Leader in that anime is white. But there's some yellow parts and some black parts. And there's the black part in the center has a skull with a skull and crossbones, which is why it's called Skull Leader, and which, of course, there is a decal for that on a Space Marine sprue. So what I did was green stuffed in that middle centerpiece there over the Tau symbol, made it a nice round surface there. And what I'm going to do is after I paint it up, I'm going to paint that part black, take one of the Space Marine decals with the skull and crossbones and put it there to be like the Skull Leader from the anime. So that is my next Tau project. It comes on a 25 mil. So I put it on a 32 mil standard for a jumpsuit in the current edition. And of course, you see how big her guns are, right? So on a 25 mil, she was constantly falling over like an overly well-endowed lady. Anyways, What?
What?
You are both clumsy and well endowed, my love. Anyways, so putting her on the 25 mil or on the 32 mil base keeps her from falling over as much. And I did have to do some gap filling at the bottom of the base. So did a little green stuff work there, did some green stuff work on the chest, and she's ready for me to start painting sometime this week once I finish my stealth squad there. Going back to the chat, we have a hell child in the house. Let's see. That's what you get when they start drinking hard whiskey. Well, I mean, maybe what you get, but sounds like hard whiskey still makes for a good time. So, Hellchild, what is up, my brother? Brother Ethan is in the house. Good to see you, my brother. Ex-Gear Commander. Good to see you, my man. Small image. Small image of what? What did I mess up? The chest?
No. She's having a hard time seeing it because she's looking on her cell, and of course our image is a little smaller than our typical larger. So that's
gotcha.
Yeah. It's just really meant to kind of just as an effect. We're both going to be doing showcases for this, so you'll be able to see it down the line.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, because you had asked about the updated overlay.
Yeah.
I didn't skip over your chat. All right. So I mentioned the D&D. Let's see, painting on the go. And because I recently finished up my last Wolves project, I always have to have at least one Wolf project on the go. So, of course, I finally got around to priming up my Wolf Lord in Cataphracti armor. And this guy's going to escort around my Terminator, Arjak Shield Brother Terminators. So he'll be the Wolf Lord. Arjak will be the battle leader. And they're going to go around in their Terminator armor and just smash some shit up. So that's going to be cool. Brian is in the house. Atomic Dog Scale Model Freak. Always good to see that guy. I need to go watch your Storm Boys, my brother, because your showcase, I have it saved under Watch Later. I just haven't been back to watch it yet.
Actually, speaking of watching and stuff, doesn't he does model cars?
Yeah.
I've been talking to my brother, and my brother is an absolute car nut. He was like that since he was a kid, and he says, "Hey, what do you?" He was sending me pictures of this gorgeous paint job on his car, and he doesn't watch this, so I'm going to just flat out say it. What I want to do is I want to get a model car. I think like a Shelby, like a 65 or 65 Shelby. And I want to paint it for him. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to paint it. I've never done a model vehicles or anything like that. I'm just models like minis is all I've done. And I decided to experiment. And I said, I can probably get that with the acrylic, but I'll have to kind of manipulate it a little bit. And
that's why you were experimenting with the auto paint style of painting earlier this week.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to mix things up. Now, guys, I don't have enamel. Whenever you're doing, to my knowledge, and Brian, you can correct me, but when you're doing these, when you're painting these vehicles, you usually do it with an enamel that has a type of metallic flakes in the paint itself. Right, and then you spray a couple of coats of gloss, and eventually, you get it coming looking nice. Well, I didn't have enamel. I didn't have all the different types of paints, so I said, you know what? I'm going to work with what I've got to see how it comes out. So I have acrylics. I took first thing I did was what?
Nothing. I'll get to it in just a second.
Okay. So what I did was I went ahead and I sprayed. I base coated the subject. A bright metallic, like a bright silver. And I went back with a red and did a thin coat. Okay. And it kind of, made it a little translucent, right? And so the metallic kind of poked through. Well, then I went back and I took that same red and I mixed in some of the metallic with it. Not a lot, but just enough to kind of give it the little flakes. And I just sprayed layer after layer. I let that dry. Then I went 4 layers of gloss. And I showed my brother, and he was like, holy crap, that is so cool. And it was really, really neat. It looked like really cool automotive finish. I'm like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah, it
So
was definitely a hot rod red. That looked good.
yeah, I was pretty impressed, and it looked really wet, but it was dry. It just had like 4 coats of gloss. Like I'm gonna have to post a pic one day, but it was really neat.
I like them wet. So speaking of which, Shadowcat says, so your Wolf Lord works as an escort? Because I said my Wolf Lord would be escorting around Arjack and his Shield brothers. Well, you got to understand, in the Silver Moon arc, that's just the way we roll.
Oh my
Everybody
gosh.
waits for our escort. You were talking about the Shelby. Brian says Robert from the TMP, Brother Rob,
Yep.
is building a Shelby right now.
Oh
Man, I wish Brother Roxas were in the chat too, because that's Roxas's favorite car, is the Shelby. Running Bear says he's got a 40K tournament tomorrow and he's betraying the Emperor.
Ooh.
Emperor, forgive you, my friend. Tiffy, get the bolt gun.
May have to have a chat with Chaplain Emo about all this. It's just
Brian, of course, has a lot of experience with the model car kits. He says 1 coat of lacquer is really good too. Or use multiple layers of different type paints is what Brother Thomas says. And Thomas also says, I like painting metallic flake and then painting tint, then paint, tint, then gloss. I may have butchered that a little bit, but you got the gist of it. All right, and so I think that is all. Yeah, that's all my hobby update. A lot of stuff this week. Oh, also to fit in, and we talk. We have our Elston Nation fact, 100% true fact of the week coming up later in the show. But something that he's been talking about in the last several weeks of his live show in Chilling Wargamers is his 5 a.m. painting method. Actually, he mentioned it here on one of our shows too when he came in the chat one day. His 5 a.m. basically he works a real job throughout the day, but he's really good at knocking out into whole armies, as we've mentioned. And apparently the man wakes up at 5 a.m., I think an hour or two before work every single day to make sure that he has time right at the beginning of his day to get some of that commission painting in.
wow.
So, I mean, I sampled that a little bit today. I got up I got up an hour before work. I was like, I'm going to try some of the Elstonation method. Got up. I said, I'm going to try 30 minutes of the Elstonation method, set the clock back 30 minutes. But, actually getting up earlier today, I did all the airbrushing on this because I had done the McCrag spray last night. And so today I did the Caldor Sky all around to give it a brightness. And then I went Zenith all from the top with the Teclis Blue or Viking Blue. And so that was part of my project this morning. And, of course, I did the wash on some of the wash and panel lining on some of the towel last night, doing the same thing. So it actually – or not that last night, this morning doing the same thing. So actually that get up and work on it early method really helped me get some things done this week. Am I a big fan of waking up early? Not necessarily. But I have to say, when I woke up knowing I was going to be painting, it was a little more motivating, not only to help me get stuff done, but, to not hit the snooze alarm so many times. Sometimes, guys, I hit the snooze alarm a lot.
A lot.
Hey. No need to call me out.
Like a lot.
A lot.
So, yep. Okay, I think we're finally past hobby updates. But yeah, it's been a good week. I mean, heck, me painting, you painting, it's been a while since we've had weeks where both of us have been getting stuff done.
Yeah, it's been some time, man. It's been a minute.
All right, so up next we have the art of the week, my brother.
Cool. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, art of the week. Bear with me. because we have this.
Ronnie Bear says he's betraying the Emperor because he was challenged to play a non-good list, so he gets to live out his evil side a little bit. That's kind of cool. Change of pace, something different, right? He also says, nice start on the Smurfs. Thank you very much. I'm hoping they're going to look okay when I'm done with them.
Okay, so the first one, of course, is going to be the Riders. You sent me some horsies. Let's take a look at that here.
Starting with mine, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, man. This was absolutely gorgeous.
So, hold on. Let me move to my thing. Okay.
So this is SK Drill.
Yep.
Now, so there they are. If you want to look them up on Facebook, where I actually saw those where they posted it up in Victor's Miniatures Paint Shop. God, I'm doing a horrible job of a shout out. But anyways, so if you follow the YouTube channel, Victor Kess, I'm really good at pronouncing names too, apparently. Victor Kess, I want to say. And that's probably, I mean, I know the name of the channel, it's just my pronunciation, but does amazing artwork. But he also every month shows off other people's work on his channel. Go check out his channel so he can show, not only see his amazing work, but where he shows off people in his Facebook group's work. But look at that. The skin tones are just flawless. Look at it. You can see the details on the abs. How crazy is that? The horse is gorgeous. I love the color choices for the horse there. Plus, if you look at all the studs on the horse, or scales, or whatever that is, it's a fantasy horse. Each of those studs, though, you can see clear line definition, right? And where it actually looks like it's protruding from the flesh, right? There's a little bit of color around the clear mark around each one of those scales or studs. So pretty cool. That glaive looks amazing.
The transitioning on the light on the color transitions on by the hoofs, on the front with the covers, looks
actually really that cool. Whole flank there starts off with the brightest fur up top, and then as it goes down, that subtle transition down, underneath her spear, underneath her leg, it gets a little bit darker.
Also notice the highlight on the upper thighs, which is really cool because it makes the leg look translucent, like skin typically is, a slight translucent. Really, really great job on that.
Absolutely.
Here's another shot here. Oh man, just incredible work.
Like I said, the fact that you can see clearly defined abs. Who can paint abs? That kind of skin work is just beyond me.
And she's a lady. Side saddle. Love it. Love it. Another shot. Just really, really good stuff. I love the spear, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
The very, very pointy thingy that might hurt.
And you guys know I'm a huge fan of cavalry type models. It's one of the reasons why I picked my Space Wolves. And this, I don't know what game this goes to. I don't know what army this is, but I want to collect it. I want to paint it. I want to play it. I want to keep it forever. That's how amazing this looks. Victor's Miniature Painting Workshop. That's the name of the Facebook group, now that I'm not failing so hard.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's see what else we got.
Shadowcat is working on a dreadnought and needs to prime the feet and the Dark Angel shin plates. Ooh, awesome. Nice. Looking forward to seeing that. I love seeing dreadnoughts.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm working on myself. It's a different twist to your Dark Angels normal colors. What's the other one, Mythos?
Don't make me lie to you.
Okay, that's right. I this is the one oh goodness. Okay, let me pull this one up. So my art of the week, that was the one that you posted. My art of the week was actually more so I guess, what is it? Just not drawing, but what do you call this? I'm drawing blanks, man. You know, when you actually draw or sketch or whatever the heck you want to call it,
Freehand?
painting. Well, yeah. Remember when I sent you the picture of of Grim the Grim Dank? Hold on.
See, I have a really serious medical condition called CRS. Um, so unfortunately, I'm incapable of remembering what you sent me earlier this week.
Well, I think we both have the same thing because I can't remember crap, and I just sent it to you a little while. Well, earlier this week too. I don't know. I'm tired. My brain is exhausted. I'm serious. I tell you what. You know, when I used to work in IT, or not in IT, but in out in the field and do more physical work, I was physically tired. Now I do the IT stuff. Now I'm just mentally exhausted. My brain is just tapioca. But anyway, this is a really cool. Let me just showcase this real quick. Yeah, bear with me. Bear with me. There. Give it a second to populate. Anyway, I shared this with Mythos, and I'm like, this is just the coolest rendition. I love the axe, the two-bladed axe. I mean, it's just really, really freaking awesome. I love this mural. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's what I would imagine a space wolf would look like.
It's definitely one of the best pictures out of the codex for sure.
Absolutely, man. Just beautiful, beautiful work.
Freak is a zombie. Freak is a zombie around this time.
I really am. I'm pushing myself. I just had a cup of coffee, and I'm really trying to push myself through it. It's been a very, very, very eventful day. So, let's see what else we got. Let me push this back.
By the way, Logan Grimnar right there. Oh man, I can't wait. So I'm currently working. One of my challenges for the month. Oh, I forgot to mention that during the hobby update. One of my challenges for the month. I love to participate in the monthly painting challenges in the Hobby Hive on Facebook, which brother Thomas there in the chat and I once tied for first place one of the months.
Nice.
But this month's theme, if you want to go out and participate in the monthly painting challenge, show off your skills. This month's theme is Memory Lane or Memories. And so the theme is to pick either a really old sculpt or something that is an early model of yours. So one of your first models, that kind of thing. And of course, one of my first models and something that was my first financial support of me in this hobby from my lovely Lily Nightfall over there was my Logan Grimnar on Storm Rider. And it had my year one paint style, which was horrendous. We're talking bright ass silver fur cloak for some reason. I thought it looked good at the time, and I mean it's not a great paint job. It looks not great. I thought it was the best at the time. Anyways, but I was going to keep it because it was a classic sign of my work. And then when we moved a year and a half ago for her emergency moving for the hurricane, part of it got crushed in the move in the back of the moving van, and so I couldn't run it anymore. Which, I mean, being able to run it right now in 8th edition is not necessarily super viable, but I still liked running it just because I like running fun stuff. Anyways, with it being crushed, kind of took it out of commission. So earlier this year, I started kind of converting back up to where it was crushed, and so that way it's usable again. And I ended up stripping it all down to bring it back up to my current color scheme since I'm working on it anyways. And I put Logan Grimnar in the drink this week. It's not going to come out looking quite like that because I'm this amazing artwork that Freak had up, because I'm going to do it in my Silver Moon colors. But definitely looking forward to repainting the High King there, the Great Wolf, as it were. He's in the stripper right now. That's right, my king is stripping. Told you, that's how we roll in the Silver Moon.
Yeah, whenever they're not escorts, they're stripping.
Whenever they're not escorts, they're stripping. That's right. And so, so the High King is stripping right now. That's another
We're working at Chippendales. So
I actually have a deadline there because I want to make that my contribution for the monthly painting challenge this month. And so, what do I got? 13 days left in the month to try and get that done while still doing my commission and other projects. So, some little motivation there.
Very nice. Hey, Atlas.
So you picking that as your art of the week is extra inspiring for me because I see the amazing Logan Grimnar in your artwork, and I'm like, I need to paint my Logan Grimnar.
Yeah, I love the Codex artwork in there, man, and I love how some of these guys actually showcase it, and it's just pretty neat. It's just gorgeous work, and it's what I really envision. Just really, really good Space Wolves. So.
So I had my High King stripping and Forge the Wild. Brother Atlas in the chat, what up? Says, hail the High King, baby. And the Running Bear says, playing that 70s music in the background.
With the bongos in the background, too.
Brother Atlas, since you've joined us, my man, we were just talking about what an amazing GM you were this week and how, we really had us in a pinch where we really cared about the consequences of what happened. And also kind of showing off the amazing D&D model you hooked me up with from Hero Forge. So that's pretty awesome. I don't want to see stripper Marines. Thank you very much.
Hey, that could be a whole new faction.
Yeah, I could. Told you, that's how the Silver Moon roll. When the wolves feel and frisky. Well, I know you are zombified, my brother. I'm all over the place. I'm out of focus attention. So if you guys are noticing in the chat this week that my attention is scattered everywhere, I'm out of my ADD medicine, so I'm just all over the place. Anyways, between your lack of energy and my scatteredness, I think we could use some words of encouragement this week.
You know what, man? No truer words have been said, my man. I think we can really use, because I really need it. I need a dose of Chaplain Emo. So, I know. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All
Bring in
right.
the big guns.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in comes Chaplain Emo. Gotta love that. That's just such a cheery intro. I love that Chaplain Emo, man. He's just got it where it comes.
That's one of the things you can rely on us for every week is to come get the word from us every week. Everybody needs a little bit of the Emperor in their life.
Straight from the Emperor.
All right, well,
gets you right there in the fields,
Chaplain Emo, we could use some of the word this week. So help us out. Give us some of that word.
Please. Oh, there he is.
The Emperor protects our loved ones. Where was he when my doggy died?
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys heard the word. I think we all heard the word. And straight from Chaplain Emo. Anyways, going on to this week, we've got a lot of news to talk about. Actually, a lot of it is still left over from last weekend. So there may not be an abundance of news, but we're going to talk about some of the news and how it applies to this week. So, and whether or not we're happy with the news we got.
Right.
Archer says Mythos is completely flabbergasted. That's not true. I always know what to say. I've never left speechless. All right, moving on to the news, my brother.
Okay, let's set it up.
Shadowcat says bird is the word. Bird.
Don't.
I can't talk that too loudly because my wife hates that. She'll kill me for sure.
All right, rumor engine.
Bird.
I still hear you.
Nothing?
What?
All right, rumor engine.
Rumor engine.
All right. So, what is this? It looks like a breastplate of some sort.
Does look like a breastplate for something. So one of the theories I saw on that is that this might be a new flak armor or new kind of Imperial Guard armor.
Cool.
I think though Archer has it there so the Imperial Guard is what I saw as the most repeated comment on the Warhammer community page. But I think that the popular answer is not the correct one. I think Archer's got it there nailed in the chat. He says Arbites. So I think Chapter Master Valric, I want to say, somebody this week put out a video saying that was rumored to be the next Warhammer kill team was Arbites. And if you don't know, Arbites are basically the law enforcement unit of the 40K world for the Imperium.
I did not know that.
So Arbites they're talked about widely in the novels, and some of them seem very cool, but I don't think they've ever been represented on the tabletop before. This just did. Mythos starts calling Squirrel while Freak is still looking for brains since he's was beaten out of him from dealing with all the calls. Oh, Squirrel.
Brains.
And Archer's right. Chapter Master Valric is usually pretty accurate, and I think from having seen the video on potential for upcoming okay. They were once upon a time on the tabletop, but it's been since the original Rogue Trader.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I've always liked law enforcement units in different video games. You know, the town guard, different police force type units. I like seeing those in games. Or Inquisitor 28. Okay. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. And I've always thought that the Arbites that I've seen in the Horus Heresy novels I've seen so far have been very cool. So I'm excited to see that actually taking place here back on the tabletop. I would love to see them as a kill team. The only problem is that if they come as a kill team, that's one more reason for me to want to play kill team. And I've been resisting for so long.
I think we may have to dip our toe in that, man. I mean, it's from what I hear, it's not as bad as not as bad as at least as I believe. So I don't know. I'm willing to take a look at it.
Something I've also been interested in lately too is Blackstone Fortress, because you can play as PvE instead of PvP, and I thought it might be something fun to play with my lovely wife over here, or even for us to do something together instead of just bashing the crap out of each other on the tabletop and getting salty. Not that we do that, because we're two mature guys, right? Freak, we don't just get arbitrarily salty in a game, right?
No, we you know what? We have so much decorum, when we come together, and we just. Matter of fact, we are so boring when it comes to playing our games, because if something happens, like, I don't know, maybe priest decides he wants to murder my knight. No, it was a wolfen. No, the wolfen comes and chews up the butt of my knight. I'm like, oh look.
It's funny because they're the ones who one-shot your knight. But you weren't even that mad at the wolfen. You were so mad at the priest giving him rerolls.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy is ruining my life.
Right. But I wasn't really mad. I was kind of like more.
I mean, you were excited for
me. I was excited. Yeah. It was almost like, it's almost like mono, just like, oh, look.
Oh,
my
apparently
knight was destroyed.
Apparently, Arbites were in Necromunda as a box set. I'm going to show you how out of the loop I was with Necromunda in 7th edition. Wait, the last box edition of Necromunda? Was that 7th edition back then? How long ago was it Arbites were in a box set? Anyways, yeah, I never even realized that. Once there was this game between two players in a living room, the next day the Great Salt Flats were formed. Oh, man.
Was he there? Did he watch? I mean, it almost sounds like you actually were there in the living room.
Okay, in the original Necromunda, not the 7th edition one. That was that would explain why. That would explain why I was not familiar with it, because I only came into the game 5 years ago. But that's cool that they were in the 1990s Necromunda. It'd be cool to see them back. I've never even seen an Arbites model from that. That'd be cool. I need to go back and Google some of those.
I've never seen an Arbite. An Arbite is, I don't know, it sounds like something in the mouth, like an overbite. No, I have an Arbite.
And it shows you what this chubby guy's thinking about. I thought it sounded like a snack.
Hey, have you tried the new Arbites? Oh my gosh, man.
Arbite.
Yeah, they're great. They're cream filled.
Sounds like some kind of hors d'oeuvre to me.
Sir,
Archer
would
says
you like
that
an
the
Arbite?
Arbite models look vaguely Judge Dreddish. That's how they kind of, in my mind's eye, how I saw them when I'm reading about them is kind of a Judge Dredd kind of look. So that's kind of cool. God dang it, that's going to make me want to play Kill Teams.
I like Judge Dredd.
I like Judge Dredd a lot too.
Yeah. Remember the first time the movie came out? That was with
Stallone?
Stallone, yeah. So Sly. That was actually really good. I liked it.
I didn't break the law. I am the law.
The law. I am the law.
Use the new Judge Dredd minis when they come out. That's right, because Judge Dredd has its own tabletop game.
That'd be funny.
That's cool.
A bunch of Judge Dredds running around.
That's so cool. All right. Next item of the news.
Yep.
So I think we've got this thoroughly hashed out. I think, guys, can we make a team vote here? Do we all feel like that's Arbites? I think that's a team vote.
Sure. Why
Got
not?
Archer?
It's an overbite.
You seem like you're sold on it. That does look like vaguely Judge Dredd armor or chest piece. I think we got it. Okay.
All right. So the next one up is.
No, we don't. Strontium Dogs have the mini game. Oh, really? Oh. Well, my bad. For some reason, I thought I saw on Rage Against the Dice, Judge Dredd had their own minis. Anyways, next thing, my brother.
All right. Next thing for the con. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's terrible. Bear with me. Okay. So
we showed these off kind of when they were first announced. That White Scars were getting some new models. We took a look at them once upon a time, but I definitely wanted, now that they're available to actually order. They'll go live. It went live this week for your ordering. I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate. We looked at some White Scars last week, and I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate them again. Now that it is live, look at that. Gosh. That looks so cool.
Doesn't it kind of look a little Space Wolfy?
Well, the White Scars are known as the Great Hunters. So they are going to share some kind of features, with the roving, tribesmen of the Space Wolves. So they're going to share some traits.
I love the Leviathan. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the Leviathan looks boss.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it does. Man. That's that gorgeous.
Excuse me, I'm going to mute myself for a moment.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
That's that gorgeous. I went to sneeze, and then as soon as I hit the mute button, it just disappeared. But it's left feeling unsatisfied there at the edge of my nose. So that looks very cool. I agree. Archer says he wishes you could get those pole arms from somewhere else. I know, because I like it on that model, and I also like it on the Tartaros pattern Legion Praetor. Looks very cool. I actually want one of those Legion Praetors. I just don't know what I would use it for, but I just want one of those because they look cool. If it is cool, it's a Space Wolf miniature in hiding.
That's pretty much it for that one.
That's cool. Again, those models look great. I definitely, and just like we talked about before, yeah, they're 30K models, but you absolutely could repurpose those for 40K. Of course, the Contemptor, the Leviathan can all, be run as relic Leviathans or Contemptors out of the, Imperial Armor Codex. Shadowcat's out for the night, or morning, I guess, where she is.
Yeah.
Later, Shadowcat.
Bye-bye.
But you can absolutely run those out of the Imperial Armor. You could also, of course, take the Praetor models, run it as, a captain, a lieutenant. I mean, there's a million Space Marine lieutenants, it would be a cool stand-in for something for sure.
Indeed. Okay, you ready to move to the next one, to the last one?
Yes, sir.
All right. Forbidden Power. The scenery.
Oh, yes. So they did an official Warhammer community announcement of some of the really cool scenery we took a look at with Phil on Saturday. By the way, go take a look at that if you haven't seen our chat with Phil. Phil got a great look at some of this stuff up close and in person. And he got to see not only some of the completed works, but he got to see some of the in-progress stuff. He actually got to see some of the designers working on it, building it up, gluing it together, and all that stuff while he was there.
As a matter of fact, those are pictures that he took personally himself that he allowed us to share, which is pretty freaking awesome. That is just a cool, just amazing. And I even said it does have that Egyptian slash, I don't know, Greek, not Greek. Yep. It's more Egyptian more than anything.
What's cool is that, honestly, if you do it in desert colors, it has an Egyptian vibe, but I bet you so hard if you did it in stone colors and did the columns
Greek
in white marble kind of colors, I bet you could give it a Greek feel if you wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would love to keep it in the desert colors because Archer and Sergeant Oddballs had a great point that this would make amazing Thousand Suns terrain. And I think, one of the biggest stories for Space Wolves is the burning of Prosperos, where we go to the home world of the Thousand Suns and we, bring them to sanction, and it's a massive war across their world. And I think it would make a great burning of Prospero, kind of battlefield, as if you were there during the Imperial sanction of Prospero.
Nice. So do you know much about the Penumbra?
Do I know much about what?
Penumbra, I think it's called.
I don't, because this engines for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah,
but I definitely think the terrain could definitely be used in 40K.
It looks really, really cool. I mean, the thing is, it just, man, the sculpt just looks so real.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's amazing looking. Also, I have to say, I know I've been saying this for years, bro, and I know we don't want to invest in another game right now, but I've really been getting an AOS kind of itch lately.
Yeah.
I've been interested in Daughters of Cain since they were announced, and I've really been getting an itch lately because the main thing I don't like about Stormcast, I love their overall design, but their helmets just aren't my personal aesthetic choice, right? But I started looking at them, and I was like, man, I bet you if you took some Grey Knight helmets and put those on Stormcast Eternals, they would have a very cool knight kind of feel, a very cool chivalrous knights in shining armor kind of feel. So I kind of want to do me up some Stormcast too.
That'd be cool, man. Yeah, Hellchild says do it.
The only problem is I got no one to play AOS with right now, so.
Well, I may jump on that, man. I mean, because it's more fantasy, and since I'm getting back into D&D, I don't know. I may get into it, man.
Cool.
I just, you know me. I just don't want to overcommit to something.
Right. We could do like we did with 40K and start out with a couple of skirmish forces.
Yeah. Something a little simple. Yeah, I think I like that. All right, what's the next here? So it just kind of goes over the function and the rules. The Dominion of Sigmar scenery. That is just gorgeous.
You're gorgeous.
So that's pretty much. As a matter of fact, this is what he took pictures of.
Yep.
Phil did.
See, right there, that looks like you've walked into one of the great temples on Prospero.
Man.
Like, oh man, this would make such a great battle board.
Yeah.
Of Thousand Suns versus Space Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just beautiful work, man.
Brother Thomas, he knows the right words to get at a crack addict. He says, "Well, I've got 4 armies. I could sell 1 or 2."
I love this ring platform.
I love that statue there.
Yeah.
So that is a separate piece, by the way. So you could actually put that on any one of those pieces of terrain. That's separate. Makes a pretty good line of sight blocker. And man, it makes such a great, not only a statue for your scenery, but you can even paint it up as a bust. It looks great.
Very nice.
Archer once saw someone take Stormcast Eternal, convert them into Sigmarines, and paint them up as Howling Griffins, which I think is the alternating colors red and yellow. Man, that's such a gorgeous board.
Yeah,
I would just love to just take their board and, set up our armies for a game right now. Like,
we're kind of overdue, aren't we?
What are you doing here?
It'd be funny to go to Warhammer Fest, right? And start setting up our armies just right along each side. Sir, what are you doing?
Sir, these are display tables. They're not for games.
Oh, yeah.
Roll the dice, freak. Roll the dice.
Right. All right, I'm seizing the initiative. Oh, my goodness. Good stuff, man.
So that brings us to the last piece of our news straight from the community page. We do have one more piece of news that was on a blog, not from the page itself, but we're going to save that for our main topic. So before we move on to that, as part of our news, Brother Running Bear has decided to share his list for his tournament tomorrow, playing the bad boys for once. So I'd just like to go over that, because I love when the community interacts with us. I love when they send us pictures of what they're working on. I love showing that in the show, sending us your list, for us to talk about. I think that's very cool too.
You're very cool.
You're very cool. So he's going World Eaters, playing the bad boys tomorrow. And of course, if I played Chaos, going Khorne might be the way for me to go, because I love getting into combat. Although, more than actually playing World Eaters, though, I've always wanted to paint up some Luna Wolves. But anyways, he's gone Battalion, starting with an HQ of a Dark Apostle and Karn the Betrayer. Very cool. His Dark Apostle's got Illusory Supplication, Mark of Khorne, and Wrathful Entreaty. He's got Khorne Berserkers. Of course, you got to have the Khorne Berserkers. Icon of Wrath, Berserker Champion with Chainsword, Power Fist, and 4 Chain Axes. Very cool. More Khorne Berserkers, looking the same way. 3 squads of those Khorne Berserkers. The third one has 7 Berserkers with Chain Axes, so a slightly larger group there. He's got some dedicated transports, Chaos Rhinos. He's got Legion, the Flawless Host, Demon Prince with Malefic Talons of Slanesh, 3 units of Fast Attack Chaos Spawns, some Obliterators. Man, those put out so much damage now. Vanguard Detachment, Demon Prince of Nurgle, so you're going multiple Chaos Gods here. Very cool. Almost kind of like a Chaos Undivided kind of army. And he's got 3 squads of Foul Blight Spawn, and reinforcement points for It doesn't say specifically what for, but I assume there's going to be some summoning done. So I think that would be pretty awesome. Sounds like you're going to do a lot of damage, my man. I always like, and I'm probably biased because my son plays Chaos Undivided, but I love seeing these mixed god lists from Chaos players. So I was correct on the colors of the Howling Griffins. Archer says the person even had the chapter master mounted with one of the big griffins or griffhounds. Very cool. I have enough ideas, Running Bear. Let me see what that goes back to. Now, those are the heads I like for 1,000 Suns Army. Oh, that's why Brother Thomas is like, I have enough ideas. Man, if you mention cool ideas, Brother Thomas is one to jump straight on it and do some mad awesome conversions.
Yeah, he's a conversion king, man.
Running Bear says, if I had the money, I already have it done, but Space Wolves and Dark Angels to get done first. I know, trying to find the time to start up and paint and assemble all these armies. I'm looking at these boxes of stuff that I still need to paint, and so much I want to do right now between my Horus Heresy box, my Dark Imperium and Forgebane box, and then my Shadow Spear box. But some different stuff to be able, I mean, not Forgebane, I meant Tooth and Claw, but a whole bunch of stuff to be able to get my a huge start on my Ultramarines. Darklight Dreamer says, headed out, brothers. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Have a great night, brother.
Good night, buddy. Take care, man. Be safe.
But Brother Running Bear sounds like a great list, my man. Of course, that's me saying it, not knowing anything about how Chaos plays. Who knows? It might be a terrible list. I don't know. I doubt it, because Running Bear always makes really good competitive lists. When I read his reports on how his battles went, looks like he does a top-notch job with strategy, too. The fact that he took his Dark Angels and did some mass firepower damage on the Tau last time he sent us a list, I'm super impressed with that. So, you know, for doing such damage to the Tau, Running Bear will always have, you know, my belief. Roxas has joined us in the chat and says, yo. Brother Roxas, my man, I am so close to being done. By sometime tomorrow afternoon, you will have the next squad of stealth suits done. So got them all done up. Just need to do the lenses tonight. A couple final highlights on like the knife sheath and stuff like that, and then they're ready to be sealed in base, my man. Corn plays like wolves. In a way, yeah, absolutely. You know, combat kings of their kind. So I can definitely see that. He says, you're just racist against the Tau. I'm not racist against the Tau. I just love watching my friends kill them. Wait, that might be racism.
I mean, it's some slight partiality. I don't know.
I'm just commending Running Bear for the amazing work he's done. He's a great guy. I was also impressed. I think you said there were 3 units of shield drones, and that is what a lot of people struggle to put down, is chewing through all those shield drone squads. And the fact that you took regular bolters and mowed through all of those shield drones was amazing to me. So I may have to actually start considering stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I've played against Tau, and that's usually what messes me up. You put so much firepower into the shield drones and really doesn't do much.
Then they make all their field okay.
Yep.
Saves.
Yep. And then once your turn is over, that's it. It's over. Over.
And the fact that you can shoot a las cannon, right? Do 6 damage, a full blast of a las cannon or melta, right? 6 damage. And then make 1 roll save.
Yep.
For save your protocols on a shield drone, and your entire blast is wasted. And it's like, why did I do this?
Yep. Yep. Why did I come to the table? Why did I get this morning?
Also, the fact that they can toss wounds with the savior protocols off of a shield onto a shield drone that's not even line of sight, so they can hide the shield drones in cover.
Right. Redirect.
Take all the damage on their Riptide wing and just chuck it at a shield that you can't even see and negate all your damage. I'm just like, why is this in my life?
Right. Yep.
Target priority is a big deal, and making them shoot at the bikes versus my troops helps. Okay, using your bikes as a distraction card effects. They're very cool. Running Bear joined Facebook. We need to chat. Got some conversion specialists on both sides. Cool. Well, before we jump on to our main topic, anything you'd like to bring up, my brother? I think it's time for a fact. 100% true fact. 100% true Elstonation fact.
You are talking about Elstonation, right? I mean, because even muttering this name can cause hair growth. Yeah. All right. Sorry, that just went weird.
I almost swallowed that coffee wrong when you said that. All right, so
all right.
great tip. Eliminators did work on the drones that were in hiding. Very cool. That's
Nice.
right. Eliminators don't need line of sight.
Right.
It's a good tip. Actually, I need to paint up my eliminators now. Not that I plan on playing any tile, but you know.
All right. So are we ready for the Elstonation true 100% true fun fact?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. All right, guys. 100% true Elstonation fun fact number, that says 3. I think we're at number 4 now.
Wonderful.
Elstonation can do extreme edge highlighting with his airbrush. That is 100% true.
Of course. Of course. You know, when you spray your airbrush, it releases thousands of little micro beads of paint.
Yep.
I think he can accurately aim every micro bead of paint.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, just a very thin line, and he goes right to the edge. Only him.
I hear he can even do that with a paint roller.
That's true. That is very, very true. He was able to do it with a paint roller. I'm still trying to find out how this method, but yeah, he just takes one of the big old paint rollers that you paint the walls, of your house, and just edge highlight, edge highlight, edge highlight. How does he do it?
Brother Thomas, I don't know if I have your email. If you send it to me, I will hook you up. So you mentioned the hair thing. Brother Archer says, so should I just chant his name over and over? Don't chant it too many times.
Right.
Because, you don't want to end up like Chewbacca.
Right. It will happen. It will happen. You'll need a lawnmower to shave. So.
All right. I am. Oh, hey. So, Brother Ethan just sent a message. It says, Mythos and Freak are on. Oh,
I didn't do it.
In our Discord. Nothing? I just saw a message from Brother Ethan and decided to answer it automatically because I'm a professional on this show. All right, brother.
That's how we
so
roll.
we got our main topic, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with the big topic. We all know that the biggest thing out of all the announcements between their live chat, their Warhammer Fest, and a lot of people were disappointed that this seemed like it took priority over a lot of the the models and stuff that usually come out this time of year. The Contrast, right? That was the big release.
Contrast, exactly right.
So how do you feel about that, brother? We got to talk with Phil. We got to see all the different paints. We actually even got to see Phil work with the Contrast paints.
Right.
And actually, let me just mention a little something about that. Seeing Phil do yellow instead of gold on the Stormcast and see that they actually came out looking cool.
Yep.
In like almost like a non-metallic gold. I think I want to do an experiment because I've got Prospero Burns. I've got a few custodes around, And I'm thinking about maybe trying to see an experiment to see what those contrast paints would do on my custodes. They've got a lot of texture to them, so lots of places for that natural shading to pop on. I think it would pop a little bit. I want to see how that goes. If he can make it work with a Stormcast Eternal, maybe it would do the same for custodes. Now, of course, this is saying a lot because Phil is a much better painter than me. So, I mean, that might partially be down to ability, but I mean, it's
I don't know. He said it only took him 2 minutes to put it together.
Yeah. So, I think if he could very quickly achieve that cool looking result, it might be definitely something to check into.
Yep.
At the very least, if I don't like it, I'll drop it in the stripper and paint it with the true metallic.
There you go. Send them to Chippendales.
He can strip with my Wolf Lord.
There you go. So you asked the question, what are my thoughts about, what they've, what about the main topic, or the main theme at Warhammer Fest, which was the contrast paint, right? Just like when I told you off air that I like the idea. I think it's going to really bring a more diverse hobbyist to the table, because there's a lot of hobby players that or gamers that they would love to play the game but don't want to really invest a lot of time in painting. They just want to be able to get them on the table. This is great. My personal opinion is, although I think it's a great tool, I think it was more so about getting more people to buy Warhammer. Okay, and I'm saying this because that it's an amazing marketing tool. I'm looking at the business side of it. I feel that they did a great job marketing it. They really pitched it, and now when they revealed it and they showed it there at Warhammer Fest, I think it's really it is attractive. I'm not throwing shade on the actual product,
right?
But I feel that a lot of it dwarfed anything else that could have possibly come around. I mean, they didn't mention anything about any new models coming out, any new sculpts. We've been really.
I mean, I wouldn't say any. We got the AdMech transport. We got a few.
Right. Okay.
Tank. We got the AdMech transport.
Sure. But I guess let me rephrase that. What I was really expecting more was, more of the, Primarchs. I mean,
that's the big thing. So,
right.
And Steve warned us.
Yeah.
Steve said, "Hey, I used to work for a lot of the great, some of the big GW bosses, and the word is from those people I used to work with that they don't have any current plans for a Primarch." He tried warning us, and we wanted to hope anyways that there would still be some news of a Primarch.
Yep.
We were looking at all the Slanesh updates, right? Yep. We're like, maybe there's a Fulgrim, right?
Yep.
And we're looking at some of the stuff, like they ended up releasing some stuff for 30K Dark Angels, and we're like, it could be some Lion, right?
Yeah.
And of course, your boy here wanted some wolves, of course. So let's I've been wanting Russ, but even I don't care. Okay, at this point, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. Give me a Dorn. Give me a Jagatai.
Yeah.
Give me the Lion. Just give me a loyal Primarch.
Something loyal is and I think that is my only real disappointment, is that all this focus for a paint product,
and it's a massive. It is I'm sure it took a lot of development, and they did a lot of marketing. So it was a big project. I can see why they didn't have room to really, work on the other stuff. But you're right. When you're right, you're right.
I just feel like, okay, it really was so big, and again, it looked like it was geared to bringing more players to the table, bringing more people to get it. And again, I think it's a great marketing tactic. It's a great tool. More people that can learn to paint for themselves, they're gonna and have a better feel good about what they paint. I think that's going to get them more motivated to actually play. But again, I don't feel like we've really had. I don't think that we've been given a fair shake with decent loyalists models. Like Primarchs. If anything, I don't care what kind of problem. Like you, whatever. Whatever you want to throw us, I'm okay with it. But just give us something, and it just never materialized.
First of all, I want to apologize to the chat because, again, I haven't taken my ADD medicine in a day or so now, so I just keep cutting off Freak every 3 seconds. I'm not doing it on purpose. But you're absolutely right. And that's, to me, the biggest disappointment of the whole thing is that another season passes, right? Because officially Warhammer Fest is kind of the close of a season, right?
Yeah.
And they'll do another big announcement in the fall usually. But for this season,
Done.
that's another whole season where it is 2 to 1 loyalist.
Yep.
Right? How long have we been going on like that? Far too
Freaking. Yeah.
Like, I wanted to say something else there, but far too freaking long.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are there 2 to 1? In what way is that justified? Right? I'm very irritated. I want to throw stuff and table flip and all that stuff. It makes
we got
no sense.
shortchanged. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. We definitely got shortchanged with the possibility of.
And it's funny because I kept seeing in some of the pictures Phil was doing with the contrast, which again, the contrast stuff I think looks really great.
Yeah.
Is that they were showing some really awesome glaze blending with the different contrasts on Mortarian's wings and Magnus's wings, and I'm like, great work, painters! You've done an awesome job. Not only making those blends look amazing, but you've also done an amazing job reminding me that it's still 2 to freaking 1.
Yep, pretty much.
I just.
Yeah, see, I think it would be bad if Mythos and I actually took a trip to the UK and went to Warhammer World.
Have both of us end up getting tased?
Yeah. Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Stop resisting! Where's my Primarch? Stop resisting! Where's my Primarch? Thomas says he'll go. Hold game developers hostage until new loyalist Primarch returns. See, that's our man on the inside.
Yep. Not yet, man. Just not supposed to say anything. Just wait.
See, and that is, of course, the biggest disappointment to me. Something that was cool to announce this week, though, as far as new models, though, was during their live blog. Freak, you want to pop up those pictures?
Yep.
So this is something, and I spend a lot of time bashing Dark Angels on this channel, but I honestly just do it for the friendly rivalry of Space Wolves and Dark Angels, because honestly, some of my favorite Horus Heresy books are the Dark Angel books. Not everybody's a big fan of them. Some of them think they're a little over the top. I think they're freaking great.
I never realized that their colors were that.
Oh yeah, their original colors were black.
Black, yeah.
Yeah, there was no green wing, no death wing at the time. It was just plain black armor, and they were all. If you read the Dark Angel books, they are, and you're going to see that reflected in these models. This is one of the things I'm really excited about. They are all very based around. Arturian knights. Right. In fact, they have, if you mix Arturian knights and Monster Hunter world lore, or, Monster Hunter the video game lore.
Nice.
So their planet is called a death world, right? Much like Venerus, but in this case, it's more like a tropical jungle death world with like different kinds of monsters and stuff like that live in the jungles, and those things will eat you in the face, and
nowhere else, just the face.
And so these monsters raid villages and stuff like that, drag away people. It is, and so most of these civilizations on that world have to hide between great big castle walls, all kind of Attack on Titan style. And these knights, kind of like the scouts, go out and hunt down these monsters in that forest world.
That's pretty wild.
And what's cool about Lionel Johnson is he unites all of the Night Orders in that world into one order and starts a campaign to war against these monsters and wipe out the planet of these monsters. So it's very cool. It's a very chivalrous crusade kind of feel. So I bash Dark Angels a lot, but they're actually one of my favorite armies in the Heresy. And I'm excited to see this because their Heresy models are announced now. They are out and they look amazing. And not going to lie, I have zero intention to ever play Dark Angels, but I want them to paint them because like one out of each of the four of them, because they just look incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. Just
really
the angel wings, the lion symbols.
That's gorgeous, man.
Yeah. I want one of each of those four. Just four models to paint up.
Contemptor. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, look at the lion motif there and the angel wings for sure. And of course, that black, silver, and red is just very striking.
Right. It does. It definitely pops. And, oh, man. This is one of my favorite
things. The lion on his hind leg reminds me of King Richard's symbol, you know?
That pose... That is an awesome, but are they, okay, I gotta hand it to GW. They're really getting creative with the poses.
Yeah, every one of these looks amazing. The Terminator looks amazing. Even the regular Praetorian, regular power armor, that pose with the sword and shield just looks incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
I want all four of these babies. I really do. I don't even play 30K. Eventually, though, I'm just going to have a whole shelf of different 30K models I've painted up just to paint it. It's like, do you play Blood Angels? Nope, I just wanted the Paladins. Do you play White Scars? Nope, I just wanted the 30K models.
Have you opened your box of Burning Prospero?
Huh?
Have you opened your box of Burning Prospero?
Yep. I opened it and I took a look at it. Did an unboxing, actually. Actually, I did an unboxing and released it the same night it came out.
That's right.
And I forgot about that.
And you put it back on the shelf.
And I remember I didn't use them for a while because I bought them to put the wolves or the tactical marines in my army.
Right.
But then the more I played them, I realized I don't use tacticals. Heck, I've got 10 of the most amazing tacticals as Grey Hunters right over here, painted up by Sam of the Emperor's Path. These guys look amazing. But you know what? The more I play, the more I'm like, man, tacticals just die. That's their whole goal in 8th edition is to do nothing for you on the battlefield. They're just they give you a little cushy extra 5 command points. That's their whole goal in life, is to give you those command points.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, some people take a lot of tacticals and make it work. But what I see when I watch battle reports with a lot of Grey Hunters is their tacticals just die. Like, they shoot at something with like 3 squads of bolters, and they're like, man, I didn't kill anything this round. I'm like, spent too many points on tacticals, dude. They got mowed down. And guess what? 3-up save means nothing in 8th edition.
Yep.
Right? That is almost as good as having Imperial Guard. Because every single time I'm watching, like, whole squads just, I wiped out 3 squads of tactical marines this turn. Yeah. Every single battle report. And it's just like, it's because you took a bunch of tacticals. Why did I lose 3 squads? Because they were all power armor 3-up. I mean, because everything has AP this edition. It's just very easy to kill power armored units. Everything can easily wound, toughness 4. And what's crazy to me is that even previously non-shooty armies have a lot of DACA this round. Yeah. Like, I've seen orc armies who have always been about running, boys up the field and attacking something. I've seen a lot of like really, really, really effective shooty orc armies lately. This is, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's their time to have something nice. Orcs have been in a bad place for many, many years. Right. It's their time to have something nice, but everything just shoots the crap out of you before you get to them this edition.
Yep.
So I'm just like, I really, and I've started taking a few more power armor units like Blood Claws, but that's because I do one thing, is I just drop them off in a transport right outside, and I run my Blood Claws into them with a chaplain or something. I don't expect a bunch of chain swords to kill a bunch of stuff, but I mean, they're not as bad in melee because at least they can try and wrap some stuff up, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get a whole lot of use out of tacticals. Anyways, I've really gone roundabout way of saying. So because tacticals I found to be very ineffective, that's why I never put them in my army. And then I was like, well, maybe I'm going to do a 30K. And then I realized I don't want to learn a whole new rule set for 30K, because I tried putting together a couple of lists for 30K, and even the list building just feels so different and foreign that I was like, I'm completely out of my element here. 30K looks nice, but I just feel so lost. I'm not motivated to paint anything for 30K. I did one test model, and after that, just the list building really threw me off, and I felt so lost. I didn't decide to paint it up. And then I'm like, who am I going to play against? Because nobody in my area plays 30K. Will was playing 30K for a little while, which is why I was interested. We got on my shelf over here and one of the original Red Book to play 30K, but we haven't. Poor Will got promoted at work, and in that new management lifestyle,
We haven't seen him since.
then we never heard from him again.
Yep. He went into that void.
Every once in a while, we get a message from him saying, guys, hope you're doing okay. I will play 40K again one day. But yeah, so after that, I just had no one else to play. So
It's like a small ripple coming from the warp that we hear him. Hey guys.
So basically, my Burning of Prospero box was like 2 backup plans that fell through. So I just need to repurpose them. I may end up putting them in my Ultramarines at some point. But again, I don't have enough faith in tactical squads. That's why my battalion for Ultramarines right now is 2 squads of Intercessors and 1 squad of Eliminators. Just because I was even telling the Freak the other day that doing these 2 test models, I really have made a start to actually being able to do, if I just paint 3 more models, there's a tac squad. But I'm like, I really don't see the use in tac squads.
I think the most depressing thing about that is, and I've read the first 3 books, and really it's the tacticals that go in there and kick butt. It's like, it's the Space Marine. It is the quintessential Space freaking Marine. It is that guy that's going in there and just shredding everything. I mean, it takes a lot to kill these guys. Now it's to the point to where you've got to get higher up. It's more like the Terminators or some of the Primaris units that that kind of take over in that.
And actually, that was one thing I meant to talk about tonight too. Is a video response kind of deal to Brother Rob over at TMP. He did a talk about how much love do you show your troop choices when you're painting your army, and he mentions that they're the most densely populated units on your battlefield are your troop choices, and so he wants to know, do you really take time to love on them and give them good paint jobs? Like Freak, every single one of his tactical squads you'll see have the shading from brown to brightest yellow. Like they all have that. He really does the over-the-top paint job for every single model, even if they are nameless soldiers, which is cool, which is awesome. They look amazing. That's why Callum from Tabletop Banter gave him the medal of, first army that didn't suck. But for myself, my response to that is that I don't really play with troop choices. I might throw in a couple of Blood Claws once in a while, but overall, I don't really play with a whole lot of troop choices. So saying that they're the most dense unit on my battlefield just doesn't apply to me. What do I replace most of my tac squads with? Cavalry. Those are my tax. You mean my tactical cavalry?
Yeah. Well, that's
my playstyle, though. So I like the more survivable, harder hitting things, and I think that part of that is that I don't deal well with losing control. That's just a personality weakness of mine, and so that's why I don't believe in the tac squad units, because if I'm just going to be pulling away droves of bodies, I'm like, why did I put that on the table to begin with? Right? I want that more survivable. So it gives me more control over my own units if I make them more survivable to last a little longer.
I think that's where our frustration comes in whenever we start losing models off the board. Wait! What? How? Why this is happening? This is not a thing. This is not a thing. No. That never happens.
So, let's see. Running Bear says we throw models into the bay till they give us a Primarch. Aha! Little Boston Tea Party action. Well, of course, you know us crack addicts, though. As one person is throwing GW models
Somebody's
into the bay,
diving
somebody
in.
else is diving in, swimming them back to shore all Baywatch style.
Wait! I got him. He'll start petting them all.
The Hellchild wants to take some of those models, like the Praetor with the shield, and make them his Order of Lerna. Same thing with Archer. He wants to take the Praetor with the shield and convert the hell out of it. Thomas wants to make it a wolf or Imperial Fist.
I can see that. I can see an Imperial Fist on that.
Archer said, I'm surprised you didn't take out the Space Wolf character and use him. Actually, so I have one, and I had put off painting mine until I decided if I was going to use him 30K or not. But I already have one nicely painted up by the Shadowcat, who painted one up and sent it over to me. And I use him as a Wolfguard battle leader or a Wolfguard pack leader all the time. It's my Gygor Fellhand.
Did a great job on it.
Yeah, she did an amazing job with it. In Space Wolves, yes, we don't have a way to give them invul saves like Dark Angels and Deathwatch can. Absolutely. If we could give them a buff character to give them a 5+ Feel No Pain or 5+ invul, I think Great Hunters and Blood Claws would be worth taking. Exactly. And that actually blows my mind that Dark Angels actually give a character that says, everybody gets an invul save, you get an invul save, and you get an invul save. Everybody gets an invul save. I wish there was an Azrael in every army I played. That would be amazing. I talked about how good your paint scheme is, even on your troop choices, Freak. Brother Thomas says he wants to be like Freak when he grows up. I think that's one of the reasons why I strive to improve my painting all the time is that Freak and I have both very similarly. We have both similar personalities. We're similarly salty. We're similarly controlled by our need for control, and we both get like very out of whack when we start losing control of situations. And very similarly, we're both very competitive people. And I'm aware that he is a much more highly skilled painter than me. But that's constantly why I'm always improving in my painting, because I'm trying to strive to be good at some of the things he's good at. So,
and you know what's funny? It's almost like, and this is something. Okay, we don't talk about it really. We really don't talk about it much, But you've got that silent motivation in the background, right? Because I'll look at some of the work that he's been putting out. I'm like, holy crap, this is really good, And I'm just looking at it. Anytime we get together, and we're playing a game, I always grab a model and just look and see, and he'll show them to me. Oh, look at this, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, he's definitely crushing this. And it's so funny because we pull on each other, it's just, he gets some good ideas, I'll get some ideas, and yeah, we'll start to pull from each other, and we'll be okay. We're not gonna take it laying down. That's just the way it is. We're not gonna take it laying down. You, me, you, me, you, me.
Oh hell no! Give me my paintbrush. Just like I took my knife to a standard I was happy with, and I said, you know what? At first, I just want the clean look, and then he did his knight, and then he put all the decals on it, and I said, oh hell no! Give me my decals. Where's that? So, yeah, definitely, we definitely motivate each other that way. It's funny because it comes that way with painting. We mirror each other a lot and try and learn from each other, or at least learn, how to somewhat emulate. That's the word I was looking for. Emulate what each other are doing. But then when it comes to like strategy and stuff like that, we refuse to take advice from each other.
Oh,
I think
there it goes.
like, oh hell no, I'm gonna do this my way. I don't need your charity.
Oh, you gonna bring that up again? Okay.
No, you've done the same thing for me too, though. Like, definitely, I think both of us can be hard-headed. I just like to give you more of a hard time about being hard-headed, but I think that's a little bit of both of us.
Well, you get a little more experience than me, and I'm like, I've always been that kind of person. Like, okay, all right. First of all, I don't want you to tell me that there's a hole on the floor. Okay, dude. But freak, no. I put my finger. You like. I want to experience for myself. So I walk. Oh God, there's a hole in the floor. And Mithu was like, and I'm like, right? Am I right? Freaking hole in the floor. Did you know there was a hole in the floor? And he was like,
Brother Thomas says, you mean people actually take advice? Some people do. I think you share some of those same strengths and weaknesses with us, Hellchild. Brother Ethan says, I always wanted to run Azrael. He's the guy who gives the 4-up invul shield. He wanted to take them with a blob of conscripts back in 7th edition. Man, a blob of Imperial Guard with a 4-up invul save. Oh, man, that would be such a headache.
oof.
Brother Thomas also says, you two make me want to push my skills. Man, I think in some areas, brother, you outshine both of us in skills. Like the way you do tattoos on faces, those tiny surfaces like faces, and you make those tattoos not only just paint on somebody's face, but like faded into their skin, like they've been wearing their tattoo a couple years.
And that's on a face that's actually been painting really well. And then you put the tattoo on it. So not only is there a tattoo on the face, on the head, but it's a perfectly painted head. I'm done.
Yeah. That's one thing I'm excited about with the contrast paints, by the way, is the ability to give it really looked like it was doing a good job for people who may not be great with faces, like myself.
Me too.
So I'm definitely going to be trying their flesh tones.
Definitely. That's definitely one of my biggest ones.
Man, one day when you're not working a million hours a week, that would make a great tutorial showing everybody how you do some amazing tattoos.
Yeah, that Hellchild's, man. Dude, I don't know how you even have time to breathe. He works a lot.
So, Dark Angels were the big thing I was impressed with that was announced with this week.
Right.
Atlas has to hit the hey guys, catch this show later, man. You have a great night. Rest well, my man.
Hi, buddy.
So those Dark Angels, definitely 4 things I definitely want. And now that I'm like, you know what? I just want those 4 models to paint up. I want to go back and get those Blood Angel Paladins too. And again, no intention of starting Blood Angels, but hey, it's just 5 models, right? I can paint just 5 models. That would be really awesome. So that was the big news for me. Contrast paints were also really big for me. I think I definitely want some of the contrast paints. Oh, and one point I'd like to make is that you were definitely right. It is definitely it will expand the market and make it easy for people who are not accustomed to paint. But I think for some people, like myself, who I love the airbrush, but I also love doing a lot of brush work, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to enjoy using that and just trying it out in a bunch of ways and seeing what effects I can get. Like I said, using it for my oh my God, custodes. Mm-hmm. I think that'll be a cool little experiment, or maybe trying it out on some Sigmarines or something like that. I definitely think it'll make some parts easier because it is a naturally built-in base coat, highlight, and wash, right? And so it might speed up some things that I'm doing. Now, someone like you who already has a very different, dedicated paint style, you've got such a great formula that you do with your airbrush and stuff like that. I mean, this will probably be something that you won't need at all, and so, well, except for maybe faces.
Yeah, mainly faces. Here's the thing, and this is something that I even forgot. I really should have asked Phil. Because one of the common threads that I'm seeing about these paints is that if they're put on thick, you gotta thin them like crazy, and it's really easy to put them on thick. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, so what it is that you only need to thin it if you're using it for certain effects. So like your one person who was working with metallics said they needed to thin it like crazy, and also if you're going to be working on large flat surfaces is the big thing.
That's right.
Remember the tank that we saw, how it all pooled on the flat surfaces. So somebody broke down because they got to talk to the chemists that were there, talking about how they developed the paint. And what happens is that the reason you put it on in a thick blob is because it's made out of a material that stretches like a gel when you paint it on, and then the material as it dries shrinks back up and is self-leveling. So you actually don't have to thin it. You can go straight out of the pot because it's going to shrink into a smooth base coat.
But that brings me to my next question, is that, okay, if it's more of a gel type, would it not, because it looks like the pots are about the size of either a wash or maybe just a regular.
Yeah, just the large pots.
Yeah. So that means that you're going to be going through a lot of, so it's a possibility you'll be going through a lot of that paint being kind of thick. That's kind of little things. And again, it's not that big of a deal. If it's worth it, it's worth it, right?
Yeah, you're right, though. I think I think it's almost ingenious because, yes, it is doing the job of three things, but I think they are going to need to use more of it, which, if you think about it, if they're doing something that's going to sell to new people and bring in a bigger crowd, but at the same time, they're going to eliminate the need for a separate base, wash, and highlight, right? That's got to take up the spot of three paints.
Yeah.
That you would normally sell to that person, but they're also getting the bonus of selling to more people. Yeah. So if they do that, though, I think the fact that they make us use this thicker coat and we're going to go through the paint much quicker, I think that's kind of where they're recouping some of that, is that you're going to go through it more quickly and replace some of those 3 bottles that they're missing out on.
So if you have to take a guess, how much do you think they'll be selling the bottles of it? Because we know the wash goes in there for about $7.95, right, for a bottle of wash, roughly. So you think about what, $10 maybe?
That's a good point. It might be because it's not just their wash. All of their large bottles are about $7.50, $7.95, right, depending on where you go. So I think they may continue on with that. You're right. They may increase it by a couple of bucks for it being the new contrast stuff.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's going to be the same price as their large bottles. Con Man Chronicles agrees. He also feels the same way. By the way, welcome to the show, my man. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you comment before, so it's good to have you on the show. He says basically that material is called Flow Improver. So that Flow Improver, where they have a special medium for contrast, and they say that if you do thin it, you definitely want to use the contrast-specific medium, because they said water will cause the materials that make it a nice shrinking gel material, that stuff will cause the water will separate those items in the gel, so it kind of will separate and fall apart and get chunky. So definitely use the medium if you plan on thinning that stuff out. And now, of course, that's what they say. There's going to be amazing people in the community who love experimenting stuff and experimenting with homemade stuff. I guarantee you that Luke's APS will have a guide on how to homemade something within that contrast.
Yep, no doubt.
Because that's what he does. He finds ways to make it cheap, which is great. I'm thinking 1 bottle contrast paint will be 2 bottles of medium. And that depends on what kind of thing you plan on doing with contrast, my man. Like I said, it does work straight out of the pot, but because I know you are intending to glaze with it, yeah, definitely you'll probably be going the 2 bottles of medium round. Which they had some Golden Demon painters who were actually there at the event showing how you could use it as glazing and mixing different colors. One of the pictures that I saw, it wasn't on one of the ones we saw from the Amazing Phil last week, but One of the pictures I saw from somebody else, they were given man, these hiccups. They were given a Primaris Marine to paint up, and so they did the blue with the green on top and let the glaze shrink together that way, and it came out with a really nice Alpha Legion kind of look. So I think that'll be really cool to see what people do with it.
Yeah. I am excited about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not really, salty about the product. I'm glad that it's come out. I think it's going to be a really cool tool. I am looking forward to the flesh tones. I really want that because I think it's going to really help with the faces and stuff. Who knows, man? I mean, it might be something that'll revolutionize. I don't know.
Might give you another fellow fist. Archer in the chat there says he wants to try painting up some 30K Imperial fists when it comes out.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Phil's beard deserves a golden demon. Amen to that. I definitely second that. We are going to do, so guys, you're going to see after we're done with this video, we're going to do a second announcement video. So if you see us go live again immediately after we say goodnight to you, I wouldn't worry about that. We're going to make a second announcement, and it's going to be an announcement and a failure kind of deal. But I want to go ahead and share that with you guys in the chat while we've got you here. So we were working on, we were approached by the amazing Spud from Chilling Wargamers or Wargamer Viking, and we were going to potentially have them on for the show tomorrow. And unfortunately, we did have to cancel on them last minute. So we're working on having, a really cool Saturday special for you again with a legend. And we really, really had really big intentions to do this. I mean, Freak worked all week on an overlay to fit 4 people in case we could also get Elstonation on. It was a really nice looking overlay that had the 2 of us on the side and really made their 2 portraits right front and center, biggest day in the middle, where we could really focus on our guests. He did a great job with. That's actually why you see the new overlay tonight with the awesome purple glow here and whatnot, because he basically was replicating the effect of that overlay he made just for Chilling Wargamers. And unfortunately, due to circumstances that have come up for tomorrow, we're not going to be able to have that stream. So there was a surprise, and now we're taking away the surprise, but we wanted to be completely transparent about it. That, hey, guys, and unfortunately, and we know we're going to take a hit on this, we unfortunately did have to cancel last minute, which makes us, it was very terrible of us, and it was after they announced it on their channel. So if you see any news on that or whatnot, or if you've seen their amazing channel, by the way, Chilling Wargamers, love their streams. Check them out.
Please go and subscribe to them. I mean, they're a great channel. They're very, very good guys, and honestly, and really, this, I feel bad because honestly, it was on my end, and unfortunately, it was something that I had no idea until my wife says, "Oh, hey, you forgot that you're doing this on that day," and it's a very, very important event, and unfortunately, it's called lack of preparedness, and I really feel bad. So hopefully they'll be understanding, and
they're great guys.
Yeah, they are great guys, and we would love to actually set this up so we can try for round 2, and we really would love to have them on here. So yeah, definitely.
So if you guys see any confusion about that, that's us, man. I hope we haven't screwed ourselves out of an amazing opportunity. You're right. Our Brother Thomas has it correct there in the chat. Real life kicks us in the nuts once again. But that happens sometimes.
It happens, yeah.
I'm not making excuses for it. It is definitely our failing. And if you read the Horus Heresy books, even starting as early as Horus Rising, I recognize my failing and will be sure to correct it in the future.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So that is our big pseudo announcement. It's our big announcing that there's no longer an announcement, I guess. But yeah, so there's that. Freak, my brother.
Yes.
What you're going to be working on this week, my man? I know you're going to finish off the base on that Dreadnought, and it's time to get back at the fists, right?
Yep, absolutely. I'm hoping, because tomorrow, again, that's the whole thing. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm gonna be pretty much locked up on this function that I have to be at. But I'm hoping by tomorrow morning, sometime when I get up, I can actually start working on the base, wrap up some of the edge highlighting, and I'm going to start trying to work in some of the scratches, the weathering. So if I can get those done by tomorrow, I'll be happy. That way I can start. Oh, I already assembled the lieutenant, so I just have to pretty much throw some, start priming it and base coating it, And
Awesome.
I mean, pretty much that's the assembling's practically half the battle, right? Especially,
Hey, if you're not a fan of assembly for me, like me, it's a large part of the battle.
right? So I'm pretty excited. He's already on my table, my painting table. So I'm pretty much ready to blow some paint on it. But yeah, once I get that Joker ready to go, man, I'll start. I'll probably work on the Primaris captain next. So I'll have the lieutenant, then the Primaris captain, and then I really want to go for the levy, the Leviathan that I have. So I think that's going to look. I think I'm really really excited about that one because I think that's going to look really good on my Imperial Fist colors. And then I think I'm going to have to start working on some cavalry.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. And I'm really chomping at the bit on starting my Space Wolves. And
Fresh Force Challenge, baby.
absolutely, man. So I'm really, really stoked about that. Shouldn't take me long. As a matter of fact, I may actually do it kind of in the interim, just kind of as I'm painting through the lieutenant, throw in some cavalry here and there, and then go back to the captain, and just kind of back and forth. We may do that, so I may have some of that to showcase down the line. It's something to look forward to.
Speaking of showcase, you may even work on a showcase this week for that dread, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and another thing that I'm really considering. Well, that's not a consideration. It's going to be a thing. It's just I gotta go do it. Is I'm going to get another camera, just like the one you guys seeing me through here right now. It's another Logitech, and what I want to do is I want to hold live streams as I'm just doing, my work, as I'm kind of, painting. And so you'll see one on my face and the other one on the subject that I'm working on. So as I'm airbrushing, you can actually see what I'm doing, and you can actually see a side profile of me doing it, if that's something you want to see. And there's a lot of people ask me, oh, hey, it'd be really cool if you could make a tutorial. Yeah, well, you can actually watch me do it, and I'll talk about it, and just something that Mythos and I have been kind of chatting, and I think it would be a great idea. So as I do these, as I work on these models, and it gives me motivation to actually work on them, right? So yeah, I knew it was gonna happen. Yeah, Hellchild was like, "Do it, freak!" All caps. Yeah. So I think it's something that is worth investing. So it's gonna be a little bit, but I'm going to invest in another camera, and I'm hoping to do that, man.
Sometime after I get back from Acon, I also plan on getting a Logitech, just because I want to spruce up my visual quality here. You got my brother Freak all nice and crisp on the right. I'd like to make the left side match that a little bit.
right.
Funny, man.
Running big.
Oh yeah. Wow, 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 wow.
That's what they tell us at the club. Chippendales.
Get that out of here, guys. I don't want to see you doing it.
Get off the stage. All right, they like us.
That kind of party. I'm sexy. Hey.
Bow ties and everything,
rip off the shirt, bow ties underneath. Did you just have that prepped and ready to go? Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. Old child waves money.
This guy knows.
See, okay, that's what we get. We don't get dollar bills. We actually get sometimes loose change thrown at us. So, but I mean,
sometimes we actually get 20s when they're like, "Man, I'll just give you some money if you'll stop."
we and like I've said before, we do get a lot of requests, but we stay anyway.
We're not sellouts.
Nah, we're hardcore, man. We stick it out. And giggity. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on, and I'm looking at my dreadnought, man. My dreadnought, I'm pretty happy how, not my dreadnought, but the one I painted. I think it looks really cool. I like. Okay, fun fact. So
I got some rolls of quarters to toss at you. Oh yeah.
So I started painting this dreadnought, right? It's a Dark Angels green, and of course my buddy, he said, okay, I want you to paint it green because the rest of my army is green. He showed me a picture of one of his Primaris, no, what's the Primaris dreadnought called?
Redemptor,
yeah. And it is, it's green, right? Well, he definitely wants his Primaris one to look newer and, cleaner. So he wants the regular 40K to look kind of, weathered, like it's been around for a long time. Well, so I'm like, okay. And guys, you guys remember, I actually painted a whole mess of dreadnoughts that were salamander. So I was like, oh, God, more green. I don't know if I want to do more green. So I was looking at some different ideas on the Googles. And I found a really interesting. He didn't want the typical beige brown, right? The beige and the brown, or
the dark colors.
dark angel colors. But I definitely didn't want to paint green or leave it all solid green. I just couldn't do it. So when I started doing it, I actually blended with the highlighting and blended some. Yes, it kind of looked like Death Guard. Yeah, it was really crazy because but it would look more salamander than anything because I blended the green with a little bit of yellow for the highlighting, and I've seen somebody else do that, and I thought it looked great. Then Mitha says, "Oh, that looks great and salamandery," and I just stared at the message.
He was pissed. I could tell through text he was pissed.
I was staring at it like, that's not what I was going for. And he goes, yeah, it looks pretty salad to me.
I said, hey, no, what I said was, hey, if your client loves it, that's great. I mean, it's 100% salamanders, but that's great. Okay, but your final product looks great. Okay, but show them the picture you sent me, how yellow and bright that was.
All right, let me see if I can do this because I can actually send it to him.
I said, hey, if your client loves it, that's great. I mean, it's 100% salamandery.
I hate you, by the way.
It's funny because right before I said that, he goes, yeah, I had to do something different like this because I was tired of painting salamanders. I said, so you painted a salamander. Oh, man, the silence on the other end of the line.
But it was different because the last one didn't look like a salamander.
Because your salamanders were a very desaturated salamander.
Right.
Your new one looked like what everybody else paints as salamanders. Because you got to remember, you do a very desaturated salamanders, but most people do a very bright salamanders.
Right. Let me see if I can find it.
But hey, I was just giving you a hard time though. Like I said, my Space Wolves look more Black Templar than anything. So, I mean, who am I to judge?
All right, here it is.
Mythos felt the text punch that wasn't sent. You right? You right? Running Bear white primer with light green ink over it, and then edge with a light green to give it a Dark Angels look, but still different. Just a thought. I've always wanted to try an ink. I actually thought I was going to do a white primer with ink for these Ultramarines, and then I just decided to do something else different at the last minute. So it will apparently be a different army that I try an ink washing style. What up, gorgeous?
I was just looking at the screen.
Okay. You want to say hi?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm not too bad. How you doing?
I'm good.
My lovely Lily. You can't see her, but she's lovely.
All right. So as soon as it uploads, I'm gonna share it with the group, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, and like me said, there it goes. So let me pull it up real quick. Give me 1 second here.
I could tell he was so proud and then so mad because that was definitely not the response he was looking for.
Nope. I'm sure as hell wasn't. Let me see here. All right, there it is, guys. All right. I'm like, look, Mythos.
Hey, Tenny.
I was like, what do you think? And
you said one of the things that you always appreciated about me is that I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yep, the honest truth, and I hated it. And when I looked at
it, right?
And the thing is, okay, here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. If
that's not the one, that one actually looks good.
That's the one I showed you. That's the one I sent you. It's like, oh, look, that's the one. Look, hold on. That's the one.
I'm gonna pull this baby up.
Oh yeah. That's what she said. Look, that's the one. It was because it was yellow and anyway. So
you go ahead. I'm gonna get mine.
I was thinking, okay, you know what this. And the more I looked at it, and I'm thinking, oh God, that really does look salamandery. I mean, it.
That one. Show them that one.
Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. That's the one. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. So the more I looked at it, like, I hate you, but I think you're right. So I went immediately. I didn't waste seconds. I immediately took that thing and I changed it. I changed it on the fly. I didn't even. I was thinking, I'm not stripping this thing. I'm just going to go full blown and I'm going to change this Joker. And I'm just going to give you just one little sneak peek of what it kind of looks like now. So yeah, I got rid of the yellow.
Isn't that a little more salamanders-y than Dark Angel? Like I said, if the client loves it, awesome, gorgeous. Yeah, see now that where he toned it right down, it looks so much better. That looks Dark Angels, and it's still got the highlights.
Yeah.
I sound like a professional with my mouth full.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed. So, yeah,
Y'all spend a lot of time with my mouth full, don't you?
What?
Because I'm a fatty who likes to eat a lot.
Right. That's it.
What do you think? Y'all being dirty? For shame. This is a family channel. Okay, so I see that so far. There's been no comment. I don't think anybody wants to take sides. Oh no! Wait, Thomas says he wasn't wrong.
No, again, I agreed with it. I wouldn't have changed it. Look, guys, I'm thick-headed as the next guy, and honestly, if I felt that it was fine, I'm like, whatever. I'm it's gonna stay like that, man. And I was this close to it, but I kept studying it, man. And I'm like, oh man, this thing looks like a freaking lizard. No,
Maybe
this
the better half of Mythos. She is definitely the better half.
Yeah, I did not want to leave it like that. It's like, no, I just. So the cool thing, and I was comfortable with changing it because I did have something to break apart the green, which was the. If you guys noticed, it's all y'all seen that the beige and a little bit of brown, right? So that kind of helped, kind of break up the green. And yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, it looks great now, my man.
Thanks, man.
And of course, Running Bear is right. Hey, all that ever matters in these things is as long as the person you're doing it for likes it. Which is the first thing I said, by the way.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Okay, and just the fact that he said salamanders. So he was like, "Oh, nice salamanders." I hate you.
He has an aversion to salamanders now. By the way, finished up Vulcan Lives. Oh my god, so good. And I am on to Unremembered Empire, and the wolves in that are so awesome. It really has I mean, not that I ever lost any love for my space wolves, but I'm like, I've chosen the right smart ass, sarcastic, super cocky, self-confident chapter that reflects me. I mean, threatening Primarchs left and right. You really think 10 of you can kill a Primarch? Yeah. We are the Imperial Sanction. Cocky mofos. They're so awesome.
Speaking of,
and then they talk some serious smack too, Freak. I think you'll appreciate this. Like, these Gilliman's bodyguard, they're called the Invictus Guard. Right. They are all over these wolves because these wolves have been sent to keep an eye. Basically, the loyal Primarchs left. The Sigilite Malkador, he's basically the stand-in for the Emperor. He basically had Russ send out a pack of wolves to watch over each of the loyal Primarchs left to say, hey, watch this guy. If he starts acting up like one of the traitorous bastards, sanction, kill him. And so, anyways, of course, Gilliman's bodyguard feels some type of way about this, and they are just giving the wolves such a hard time, and they act like, not even fazed by it. And at one point, an assassin, or an assassin squad of Alpha Legion try killing Gilliman, and so the wolves are like, we'll stay by your hearth, and we'll not only watch over you, but we'll be your bodyguards too. How about that? So it's like a threat in one hand, but an offer to help in the other hand, right?
Right.
Gilliman's bodyguards are all pissed about that. They're like, hey, those responsibilities are thoroughly covered. And the pack leader just looks up and down at all the bandages on Gilliman. He's like, clearly you're doing an amazing job. I'm just like, I love these sarcastic, smart-ass wolves.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I really can't wait to start putting them together, man. That's gonna be cool.
Bernie Bear says, I have a 4th box of collecting Nurgle box sets I'm putting together for a friend. God, I hate them right now.
Right? You know what? Going back a couple of lines in the chat, I think that's one of the biggest things that I really had to break through, because doing that commission wore me out. I had the hardest time getting remotivated to just picking up a paintbrush. I didn't even want to turn on my compressor anymore, man. I was like, I don't want to see a green. And that's why I really struggled doing this Dark Angels Dreadnought, because like, green again,
green again, Dreadnought again,
yep.
Because you painted what, 42 Dreadnoughts last time?
Pretty much 42,000 Dreadnoughts. Yeah, like, oh my gosh. So I was pretty burnt out. And who was it? Ian that was saying that he's pretty much burnt out too. That he's just doing that commission. Yeah, that's exactly right. When you're doing so many, and the thing is, you're not even doing it for yourself. You're doing it for somebody else, and I mean, even
Actually,
though,
there's been a lot of burnout lately too. Brother Sean in our daily chat. Brother Sean, 4-time White Dwarf entry specialist.
yeah,
He also has been feeling the burnout lately.
yeah. So
And that was a mixture of commission painting and getting his units ready for events.
yeah, yep, yep,
I
yep,
think Star Wars Legion.
yeah. But again, I think the one thing that really got me going was just scaling back a little bit, taking a breather, not feeling pressure to jump in, and then um I don't know. I don't know what I don't remember what it was that really got me back into it, but just the fact that I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna work on this dreadnought a little at a
Freak.
time. Yeah. What the heck? Okay. Okay. That was just looks like a bandwidth glitch. You're
Okay.
good. Yeah, we're good. But yeah, so I don't know what really got me to that point to where, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna start hitting it a little at a time. But I did, man. And I felt good about it. Oh, that's what it was when we had our chat with Nick from Ittig Beer 40K, Warhammer 40K.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
and he was explaining to me how he does his, how he does the 1 hour a day, where he paints a mini at the minimum of an hour, and he tries to do a little bit at a time. And he said you can even start 30 minutes a day and then work your way up if that's what you want to do. But you got to stay committed to that time frame. And I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm just going to do a little at a time. I'm not going to feel pressure to do it. Just do a little at a time and move on. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. And lately, I've been really, really happy with what I've done. And I've actually wound up just doing more because I'm enjoying it again and getting to that point to where you like it again. That's the hardest part.
I think getting that salamander solution turned in and back to the client, I think that gave you a little freedom too.
Yeah, it did, because I felt like I got paroled. It's just having that weight off of you that well, you're pretty much done with that, and you can just move on to the next thing, that kind of thing. So
And that completed project feeling is that finality can definitely be a very releasing feeling, no matter
Yeah.
what you're doing. Just to be able to say, "Hey, I'm done."
yeah, it's a milestone. Yep, you're like, okay, that done. Next thing, I can move on with my life. So.
So for me, this week I plan on tackling Shadow Sun. I'm going to possibly, if I can find magnets small enough, because as a surprise for Roxas, I want to try magnetizing one of these stealth suit weapons. And I know people always say
It's not a surprise anymore, right?
with infantry models, huh?
Not a surprise anymore, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean,
surprise!
I'm not a big surprise if you hear.
Oh,
surprise.
okay.
But I know a lot of people say that you shouldn't bother magnetizing infantry. Hey, Roxas, you shouldn't bother magnetizing infantry weapons. But I don't know, just as a little extra something special for the Roxas. I thought about magnetizing one of these stealth suit weapons.
That'd be cool.
For the next batch, because I have a second batch of stealth suits coming up. And, just if you want to save, 15 points going from pulse rifle to fusion rifle or whatever they are. I don't know TOW weapons. It'd be kind of cool. It's just that the connection points are so tiny. I got to buy some special tiny wrist size magnets.
How many of those you need?
But yeah, so that'll be kind of cool.
How many of those you need?
The wrist size?
Yeah.
Depending on how it goes, between 2 and 4 of them.
I may have some.
Oh, okay, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think I have some of those. Those are the ones that go in the wrist. You just kind of drill it out, pop it in the wrist, glue it, you're done.
Yeah, so with these guys, because they're the connection points where the arms meet the weapon
Yep.
are so small along the forearm
Mhm.
that it looks like a big connection there, but when you actually look at the weapon, it's seated on a very thin forearm.
Mhm.
And so only the wrist size, I think, will hold it there. But because the wrist size is so small, and if you look, it's a pretty large gun.
Right.
I mean, it's almost as long as the Tau is tall,
Yeah.
right? And so it being such a large gun, I think I'm going to need 2 wrist sizes in the forearm there, depending on their strength.
I had a similar thing where it was a tactical, and he has the plasma rifle. So I went ahead because it's a heavy weapon, right, or specialty weapon, and so I went ahead and did that. I just drilled out the arm for the wrist, popped the magnet there, and popped the one in the gun. It went in just fine. They're small enough too, so.
And you are absolutely right, Rox. I do still have those magnets that I'm using on some of the other parts of the project, but for the stealth suits themselves, they're just bigger than the arm of the stealth suits. Let's see. Running Bear says, where you see, but when you see your friend use them, it will make you feel way better. Talking about the commissions.
Yep.
And I feel that way almost every time I watch Will play, because I've painted 2 of his armies. So when he's playing, I like watching, and I'm like, I painted that. I did that. It is a good feeling when you see them painting, playing with them, and enjoying them. Man, these hiccups out of nowhere. He says he does 2 weekends a month where he paints and watch battle reports or movies for the rest of the time, and try not to touch painting other than on Fridays with you all. That is an honor right there.
Hey, keep going with the chat. I'll be right back.
Okay. Setting clear days I don't hobby, and clear days I do keeps me from overdoing it. That's good to really pace yourself to keep from having the burnout. For myself, it's my typical thing has been usually to paint in the evenings while watching something with my wife, and the mixture of spending time with my lovely wife and doing the whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's keeping up on some of our YouTube shows like that we watch together, like a PlayStation Access, Outside Xbox, something we do together, or one of our regular TV shows or anime nights. That actually helps me not get burned out, because my interest is both in this painting that I'm enjoying, but also I'm not super hyper focused. And with my ADD, it works better for me if I'm doing multiple things at once. So watching something on TV with her and painting at the same time is more productive than forcing myself to just sit there quietly painting. I don't know why. It's just the way my ADD functions. And so that actually has been a big help to keep me from burnout. But then also, I think switching up projects, which unfortunately makes me take a lot longer on projects, but it keeps me from having burnout if I have variety. So like right now I have 3 different Tau things that I'm working on. I've got just some base coats and highlights done on my Ultras. And of course I've got the Hobby Hive project this month. And so by having a little bit of variety, I don't know, it keeps me from having so much burnout, especially with these last couple weeks, because work has been so crazy. I've been getting home too late to actually be able to get in a lot of painting in the evening. So trying Elstination's method of getting up a little early to do some hobby in the morning may be a better option for me. So we're going to see how that goes for a little while. I'm still going to try and do my thing with my lady in the evening, because she's amazing and she puts up with me in my hobby. But she really does support it. And I like doing that as a method of both spending time with her and getting some stuff done. But also, I think, we're going to try and see if that other method will also help me knock it out a little faster. Running Bear says, I feel you on that. I have similar issues, Mythos. Don't know better half right now. I'm sure that will be corrected at some point. And speaking of things that I've done while watching shows with my lovely lady, so this terrain piece I've had for, I don't know, I think I ordered it 2 Novembers ago, we all did a big order to TT Combat recently. But finally, I did some rusted steel kind of weathering here, and I did that all over. And then I sealed it with some gloss coat, and then I put some hairspray on the whole thing, and then I went through and painted up some blue. And as my wife has pointed out, of course, now the blue looks too new as opposed to all the rusted metal. But the reason I sealed it and hairsprayed it is that I'm going to use some alcohol to activate the hairspray underneath the paint and rub away at it so some of the rust will come through the blue underneath. So that'll be a cool little weathering. And hopefully by the end of the weekend, we'll have at least one piece of painted up and weathered the hell out of piece of terrain for our battle reports. So that'll be kind of cool.
Very nice.
So I've got the rusted steel on all like the floor areas. I'm doing a blue called 2 Blue for the steel girders and stuff like that. And then the barricades, I think, are going to be like a construction yellow, like the dark orangey, worn out construction yellow.
Yeah.
And it adds a little pop, but I'm going to have a lot of worn away places where you're going to see the rust coming through.
That looks really good, man.
You look really good. Your face looks good. Ooh, how about that?
Brother Rob.
Brother Rob of the TMP.
Howdy.
Oh, man, I've got terrain on the screen when Brother Rob steps in. And this is just a quick, a quick and dirty MDF job. He's been doing some amazing, highly detailed terrain work with the actual plastic kit terrains from GW. If you go check out the miniatures paintbrush. So very cool. Seeing that terrain makes me think of getting used WWE ring toys that would make great conversions. Oh, hey, that's a great idea.
Right.
So Rob says, "What's up, my brothers? We were just talking about the amazing releases this week, and whether or not we were satisfied. Of course, we both wished that while we liked the things that were showed, I really liked the Dark Angel models, and I really liked the paints. But we both were hoping to see something bigger, like a Primarch. And Freak and I both agree that it doesn't. We don't even care who it is at this point. Give us somebody loyal.
Throw us a bone.
Give us Dorn, Jagatai, Lion, Russ. Give us somebody. At this point, I'm just tired of the 2-to-1 ratio. And then, of course, we talked about your topic this week. Kind of a little bit of we also got Grumpy in the chat.
Hey,
Good
Grumpy.
morning, Grumpy. And we talked about your chat about troops and how they're the most densely populated part of your force on the table. And that's true for Freak. And Freak is like yourself, where he does an up and beyond paint job for each and every tactical marine on his table. You want to talk about that a minute since we got him here, Freak?
Yeah, so we were just chatting about how much do you devote to your lesser, your lesser guys, right? And it doesn't matter to me whether they are whether they just tactical or if they were an entire knight. I've gotten to the point to where I want to paint that many as good as the largest model that I have or the most important model that I have. I've even gotten to the point to where I've really have been threatening to throw Lysander into the drink because I've not been really, I think, okay, when I painted Lysander, that I was just coming into my knowledge of an airbrush, and I really, really felt like, okay, you know what, I don't think it's up to par with the rest of my work. And for me, Lysander's, I love Lysander, right? It's one of my favorite captains, right? And I really wanted to, devote some time to it. So I may do that eventually, but you can see there's some areas where just the paint was just caked on. And I wasn't sure on my paint thinning ratios, right? So I had some paint splatter, and it was just, so anyway. Long story short, I try to devote as much time on the lesser importance, whether they're tactical or whether they're the full-blown, knights. it doesn't matter to me. I want to give 100% on that. Thanks for the shout out.
So I feel like you've had an influence on me with that. My last set of blood claws I painted up for the channel. If you go back and take a look at my my showcase on that, I actually did a kind of a special job on those troops.
Right.
I did some airbrush highlighting. Brought them up to my current standard of painting. I did a lot more than I usually do for my troops. I think that's your influence there, Freak, rubbing off on me. And also why I have to insanely paint the inside of my rhinos that no one will ever see. Right. Every time I do it, I'm like, freaking Freak. I'm sitting there cursing her name as I'm painting my rhino.
Yeah.
But it's a positive influence there. But so while I think I am lavishing a little more love on my standard troop choices than I used to, thanks to, your influence, I think what I was mentioning is that for me, just the ratio that you described, Rob, is not quite there. They are definitely not the most densely populated part of my force. I very seldom play with my troop choices just because I like blood claws, but like tactical Marines, I mean that they just die so easily. And they accomplish so little, and I'm sure part of it's just my usage, but it's just like the way I see them used in battle reports a lot is they just throw them like sheep to take objectives and then pull them off in droves, knowing that they're sending them to die, basically. Because I mean that 3-up save, toughness 4, just is so easy to kill, and it's just like, yeah, I toss them on an objective and hope they live long enough.
Right. All right, you guys hold there.
I've even seen some battle reports that were like, man, I shot at this guy who played, 3 different demon princes with like all my 5 squads of tactical Marines, and they didn't do anything. How did this happen? Because you shot a bunch of strength 4 bolters at a demon prince. What did you think was going to happen? Man, they were just for some reason. It must be my dice. This is not what? No, it's not your dice. You shot at 3 demon princes with a bunch of bolters. I don't understand what your logic was here. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception, but I feel like a lot of and there are a lot of tournament people who make that happen. But again, I've never been one to just just go sacrifice tacticals to their death to accomplish winning the game. I want my Space Marines to be heroes.
But you know what? I have seen some bat reps where they're not just taking 1 or 2 squads; they're taking 4 or 5-man squads. And just marching them down, I think that's pretty effective, especially if now they have the the bolter discipline. So.
And like I said, I've a lot of especially Space Wolves players and Deathwatch players I'm seeing lately. A lot of them will take 5 because they want 5 or 6 because they want the double battalion.
Right.
Right. I mean, basically. Everybody takes a lot of tacticals because they want cheap command points, right?
Right.
And that's cool, but I just don't see them actually doing it. It's like it's a tax for command points.
Yeah.
They're not effective on the field. Is what I feel like.
Well, I think you're right.
That's why the only Space Marines you see in competition right now is they say they're playing Space Marine competition. All you're seeing is Space Marines being part of the objective grabbers for Knights. They're playing Knights. They're not saying they're playing Knights. I'm playing Space Marines, but they're just playing Knights and using the Marines to grab objectives.
Let me ask you something, just out of curiosity. When I know how you feel, with Space Marines, especially the tacticals for the 8th edition. Do you think they are less relevant now than they were in 7th edition? Or do you feel that at least that they're kind of about the same, or what?
I can't really give an opinion on that, honestly, because I was still coming into my playstyle with 7th edition.
Right.
I did end up coming to a playstyle where I just mostly ran a lot of cavalry and stuff like that. But I think that was just out of my love for the play style, not as a direct result of how I felt about Space Marines at the time.
Right, and the reason why I ask you because I really didn't get a whole lot of opportunities. I think seventh edition was kind of rough for me because I started in seventh edition, and same with you. I was a little behind learning my play style, and I was taking my tacticals, and they were always dying. But I think it was mainly because I wasn't really using them or utilizing them properly. But maybe even the chat, you guys in the chat, do you feel that are the tacticals less relevant now in 8th edition than they were in 7th edition? Running Bear says, yeah, tacticals with drop pods had more worth in 7th edition. And that's what I kind of vaguely remember, that they were a little more relevant in with drop pods.
Well, I think also armor saves worked differently back then.
Yeah.
Think about your AP weapons. It would be that it wasn't just a minus; it would protect you from anything that didn't quite meet your armor save, right? And so, if you had that weapon, that AP or lower, it was better, right? But so there were certain things that had like AP4, AP5. Your armor would protect you from all that, right? And then if they went beyond that, you had to rely on your invul. So I think that change right there is one of the reasons why armor save, which makes less effective, which therefore makes Space Marines in general less effective.
Right.
Speaking of which, Running Bear mentioned in the chat earlier, he said, forget about new models announced. I just want new rules for my Space Marines. And actually, the legend, Phil and his epic beard, actually talked to some of the design team while he was at Warhammer Fest. And he said that they are in fact, the problem is known, and they're currently looking at Space Marines and how to improve their performance. So,
that's cool. Elstonation. Howdy.
Elstonation, my man. Good morning, bud. Freak, would you like to revisit the 100% true Elstonation fact this week?
I do. You guys wait, because, since we have the legend. There we go. 100% true facts, guys. This is fact 4, not number 3, so I'm sorry. Elstonation can do extreme edge highlighting with his airbrush.
Even with an airbrush. Able to control those microbeads coming out of his airbrush. Yep. Every single one of them.
And there's a rumor that he can do the same thing with an actual paint roller, the ones that you use for your walls in your home. Edge highlighting.
Besides Elstonation.
Edge highlighting. Only Elstonation. That's 100% true, by the way.
That is our 100% true Elstonation fact this week.
Yep, it's true. So
another reason why you should check out his tutorials over on Elstonation. So run over to his channel. Give him a sub. Of course, you're subbed to him already. Who's not?
You should be.
Because he does amazing tutorials. Actually, he really... I love his tutorials, and actually his tutorials, along with Freak's guidance, are where I learned my style of highlighting vehicles that I painted up for my Space Wolves. So I watched Elstonation. Of course, he did it in the traditional Space Wolves color, but I watched an airbrush tutorial he did painting up a Space Wolves Rhino or Razorback. I want to say Rhino. And I watched his method of highlighting from the bottom up, and that has definitely been a great influence on my highlighting style for my Space Wolves vehicles.
Yep. We were even talking about it a little earlier when we shared the fun fact that if you say the name Elstonation a couple of times, it will actually make you grow hair in places you did not have hair. But you can't say it too often because then you will be a Wookiee. It's true. It's a true fact.
All right. So that is of course, Elstonation 100% True Fact number 4. Join us next week when we have Elstonation 100% True Fact number 5.
Yep.
So, guys, just a quick show of this weathering technique that I learned on the YouTubes. But just a little bit of, after the hairspray and the gloss coat, just a little bit of wearing away the blue that I painted over top of all that. I managed to get kind of that fade through where you start to see some of the rust and stuff.
That's cool, through. Man. That's really neat.
He says he's a hair growing curse now. Life goal achieved. Fun fact. I just found out during their live chat that Elstonation used to have long dreads. I actually would like to see that. That would be very cool. All right, so Freak Alicioso. So we planned enough material for 11 p.m. Yep. We just had a few guests join us. Is there anything that you would like to talk about before we sign off, my brother?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I need that. I guess we could do it here instead of pushing it in another video, or what?
The announcement?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we did cover that a little bit. I think a separate video, just so that way.
Yeah.
The announcement would still help, but yeah, I don't know if Elstonation knows or not yet.
Right. So here's what's going on, guys, and we did kind of cover it a little bit earlier. We were pretty much poised and set to have the amazing Chilling Wargamers on the show for a special show tomorrow at 2 p.m. our time. It didn't quite work out. Unfortunately, I had overcommitted myself, and when I shared with my wife that we were going to do this, she came back to me and said, "You forget that you were going to be at your daughter's baby shower for 2 p.m. to 4 p.m." Like, so needless to say, and the thing is, I'd worked very, very hard on setting up a very nice overlay for both our guests.
Specifically designed a 4-person overlay for this.
Yeah, so one for Spud and the other one for Elstonation, and have them side by side, and of course I'm like, freaking kill me. So it was definitely kind of like just shot in the head, and it was just rough. So we definitely want to try again. I'm sorry, guys, I'm tired. We want it to happen, and it would really mean a lot to us if we can make it up to you guys, for sure. Definitely to the community, because the thing is, they've advertised it on their channel, and we were gonna talk it up really big this evening, and of course it fell through. And but if I don't make it to this baby shower tomorrow, it will just be Mythos with one hole in the overlay. There'll be a missing guy here. There will be nothing there. But again, I feel very, very badly, because this was kind of a last minute pull, and that's not how we like to do things. I think moving forward, I'll be more mindful of my calendar and not overcommit and things like that. Just being very, very extra careful. So, but yeah, that's what happened. And again, huge frost and fist apologies, mainly from me, because it was on my end that it occurred. And I'd be the first one to fall on my own sword. That's just the way I am, because I don't like to commit to something and then have to pull the rug, and I just hate that. But yeah, we've already reached out to Spud. We haven't heard back from him, but I know he's probably a busy man. But like I said, hopefully we can definitely make it up to you guys, and and then make that happen probably on another Saturday where we know for sure that I have nothing going on that weekend. So, but yeah, guys, that was the announcement. That's what we were going to do. It was going to happen tomorrow at 2:00 Central, and it's not going to happen. I'm going to be, yeah. So,
Thank you so much for your understanding, Elstonation.
yeah, definitely. Like I said, we really want to make it up to you guys. So.
All right. Any other closing thoughts? Anything you're really excited about? I'd like to wish a very, very happy baby shower to your lovely daughter. I hope that goes awesomely tomorrow. I hope she gets, everything she needs for the baby.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm reading Rob's. It's kind of like awkward, It's Rob's like random comment of the day. I have a very large chainsword.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Or in the words of Portheos, my sword, it is bent.
Why does that have such a bad connotation?
You know why. Runny Bear says, "Congrats on the coming grandchild."
Thank you. Actually, it's gonna be my third grandchild. My first two oldest daughters. Actually, my oldest, we have two from her. Got one from my middle, and this is from my youngest. And I'm old. So, yeah. But shut up! You shut your face.
I was just trying to agree with you, my brother.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, because she's getting closer to that time, and yeah, and thank you for the gift, by the way, Mythos. That she really appreciates that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah,
y'all a family, so
thank you.
I just, when my girls reach that time in their lives, I better be dead first. That's all I gotta say. Whether on time or premature, I better be dead first.
And your daughters are growing to be absolutely lovely young ladies.
Hey.
Neither does not like to hear that, They're growing to be lovely young ladies. They are absolutely amazing young ladies. They really are.
Just every single, just gonna have to start expanding the gun collection. Start tagging it to, all the different. Start wallpapering my house with all my targets from the range whenever people come over. Hey, so and so student wants to come over with a lira. Start wallpapering with a whole bunch of gun targets. What is that? Nothing. Be decorating.
Or more to the point, come and sit down with me as I clean my gun.
Of course. We my brothers and I, we have a plan where there's just going to be, for some reason, there's just going to be a long table in my living room with an assembly line of most of us Kushranatas cleaning weapons, various weapons for various reasons.
Look at what Runny Bear said.
I love it. That reminds me of Bad Boys 2, where Wilson said, "You ever been with a man?" What? No, sir. You want to?
Yeah, that will really jack them up, wouldn't they? Just remember, whatever you do to her, I'll do to you, boy. Yeah, that'd probably guarantee the end of that date right there.
I also plan on giving them a parting gift whenever they leave. just remember that. Remember that my little girl comes back on time, untouched, and just hand them a bullet. Here you go. Here's a tactile reminder.
Yeah, don't ever feel like, you can ever say, I just don't feel led. Oh, well, you just felt led there, buddy.
Never shower with the wolfin ever. Rob's going to start another segment on the show with these random facts. I love it. Enough said. Something smell like wet dog in here? Or as we say with my baby pupper, does something smell commandery in here?
She get a bath?
You should see the sad look on her face. You hurt her feelings.
Did I embarrass you, baby?
Oh,
it is a saying we have. I just don't normally talk about it on television.
Poor puppy.
He's dead.
Look what you did to her.
Don't you eat it.
See, babe?
Yep.
Saw that rust coming through.
Yep.
Take off some of the newness. All right. Well, I apologize for those that are just now joining us, but that brings us to a close for the night. I'd like to thank everybody who joined us tonight. Elstonation, Rob from the TMP, Zombie Dad, like old Dante, he says. Zombie Dad, thanks for joining us. Running Bear, thanks for joining us and sharing your list. Remember, guys, you can always send your lists, your models in progress, anything you want to share with us. We'll pop it up here on our live shows. Yep. Just send it to frost.and.fists@gmail.com. Why? Because I was feeling complicated that day when I made the YouTube channel. But yeah, feel free to send us stuff, and we'd love to share part of our community with the live chat every Friday. And Running Bear, of course, sent us his list tonight for his tournament tomorrow. Good luck with your tournament, brother.
Tournament, buddy.
Thanks to Robert Espinoza, who went to bed a little earlier. Thanks for joining us. Grumpy, of course. By the way, I am 1,000% stealing this from Rob. I always like how Rob in his live chats likes to go through and thank everybody who he saw in the chat. Of course, Brother Thomas, Brother Ethan, Brother Roxas, Brother Archer. Of course, our awesome GM for D&D. Again, thanks to Atlas so much for the amazing Hero Forge model. And I'm really looking forward to the other ones like Freaks coming up soon. Of course, Darklight Dreamer, go check out. And again, if you have a question for a Let's Player like Darklight, let us know in the comments down below. I don't know if I mentioned Brother Roxas. We're going to mention Brother Roxas again. Shadowcat joined us much earlier in the show. Thanks to Shadowcat and, of course, X-Gear Commander.
Brother Rob's in rare form, man.
Random fact of the evening. You can pick your Space Wolves, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your Space Wolf nose. You can try. It may not go well for you. You can try. Running Bear says, take care, guys. And that saying does not work on some of the lads. That's a good point. I think he's referring to that Will Smith line.
Yep.
Of course, that would be a quick turnaround if they took you up on it. Like, whoa.
What just happened?
Catch me. That's a different kind of catch me outside. How about that? All right, guys. If you liked tonight's live stream, then grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. If you're watching this back on the archives, of course, feel free to drop us down some comments below and be part of the conversation. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, then freakaliciousness.
Come on.
And I would love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fist. Until next time, guys. Stay
Stay frosty.